highs are in the 80s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 119 points to 44,782. Market update brought to you by Bolton Construction Services. Bolton is actively hiring experienced HVAC techs with a $2,500 sign-on bonus. As a family-owned leader in HVAC, Bolton puts people first. Don't miss out. Apply now at boltonservice.com.
Bryce in the pocket, steps up, eludes the rush, throws, end zone, caught, Adam Thielen, touchdown!
Heels toss it that way to Hampton, and he is in. Touchdown, Carolina.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown. Bailey is third of the night.
Cooper faces up with 5 and 4, drives Davis, spins, waiting, fades away, and hits! Oh, game over! Series over! Sebastian!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's a Monday. We are back in the studio. Shout out to the ACC for hosting us during ACC kickoff. Shout out to the Durham Bulls for hosting us on Friday. But it is good to be back. And we're back with Max producing the show today. Dennis obviously just hosted the Adam Gold Show, so we're shuffling up a bit. We have real kind of football this week. Kind of Hall of Fame game. Opener of the NFL preseason on Thursday, so I'm in a good mood. We're going to try to keep it optimistic today, and with that, we jump into the Big Three at 3. Let's get it started with number 1.
Number 1.
Derrick Brown is back, and Bobby Brown is back. The Browns are back, and it's the first day of pads for the Carolina Panthers today. Now, where was Derrick Brown? He did deal with a serious injury last year, missed darn near the entire year, but he's been out on personal leave at the start of camp. Congratulations to him. Had another addition to the family unit there, a little baby girl for Derrick Brown, so congratulations to him. And he's back at practice today. Bobby Brown was dealing with a hint of a hamstring injury, so he missed the beginning, but he's back. For those of you that are unaware of how big of an addition that is for the defense for the Carolina Panthers, Derrick Brown is 6'5", 320 pounds. Bobby Brown is 6'4", 332 pounds as listed.
Literally big additions.
There you go. Max caught on what I was laying down there. But not only that, they are two of the most important players on the roster for the Panthers. The biggest difference between last year and this year for the Carolina Panthers is not Teteroa McMillan. It's not Trayvon Merrick, the free agency signing. It's none of that. It's Derrick Brown is back. Derrick Brown is one of the best players in the league, proven already, and he was hurt last year and the defense suffered. If he comes back and he is himself and or better, entire defense changes. Bobby Brown plays a position that is, it is the offensive line of the defense. You're not going to notice him most games. You're not going to see the highlights most games, but what he does is so unbelievably important as one of those nose tackles in the center of their odd man front. The strength of the Panthers defense better be back with Derrick Brown and Bobby Brown being back at practice or at practice for Bobby Brown. Mix that in with the rest of the interior of that defensive front, and you have literally the strongest piece of that team, both literally and figuratively, right? Those guys are the strongest, and they are the strongest comparatively to units across the league. Turk Wharton, acquired him in free agency for a reason. He might not have the pure mass. He's not as 320, 330, but he is strong as heck. You look at A'Shawn Robinson. I actually sent it to Dennis over the weekend. There's a picture of A'Shawn Robinson sitting next to Derrick Henry when they were at Alabama. They were Alabama teammates. Made Derrick Henry look like he was like a 5'10 cornerback because Ashawn Robinson was sitting next to him. Shai Tuttle is massive. Cam Jackson, one of their rookie draft picks, is gigantic. The interior of that defensive line has to be a strength of the Carolina Panthers. And it's tough to ask them to be a strength when they're rotating like 4 guys. But when you throw in the full complement of players they have, if they can stay healthy, dominant. Stopping the run for sure, and hopefully collapsing the pocket a bit and getting after the quarterback as well. That's number 1 in the Big 3 at 3. Let's get to number 2 in the Big 3 at 3.
Number 2.
For the second time in like 6 months, the University of North Carolina Athletic Department enters the strangest clauses and contracts Hall of Fame. They've got 2 entries in the last 6 to 8 months. Jim Tanner is UNC men's basketball general manager. He's the GM, which is a position everybody has now. He signed, this all according to the reporting done by Brian Murphy, WRAL sports investigative reporter, friend of the show, our colleague here at Capital Broadcasting. Check it out on WRALsports.com, WRAL.com as well. Jim Tanner, UNC men's basketball GM. Hold on, I just got a notification. Nope. All right. Side note, I hate ESPN's apps for the breaking news notifications.
Or the barrage of notifications, because I know I got the same one that you just did.
When I'm on air and a notification pops up and it's ESPN and there's a little Panthers logo and we talk about the Carolina Panthers, my brain goes to, can't ignore this one, right? This isn't a text from your buddy coming in during the show and you just breeze through it. I'm like, I better read this. It says, Panthers wide receiver Hunter Renfrow says college coach Dabo Swinney talked him out of retiring after he was released by the Raiders. Now, that's a nice little piece of knowledge. That's not breaking news. Breaking news, injuries. Breaking news, signings. Breaking news, trades. Breaking news, something of immediate importance. Breaking news, not, hey, guy said something interesting to the media. Put it in an article. I'll read it later. Going back to what I was saying, now that I'm off that soapbox. UNC men's basketball GM Jim Tanner signed a 5-year deal that takes him through June 30th, 2030, that pays $850,000 annually. All right, that's okay. I don't know what the going rate is for a top-of-the-line GM. Sounds fine to me. $850,000, good for you. But, again, Brian Murphy did the digging. According to a June 12th letter extending an offer of employment, Tanner already hit on an incentive to raise his pay to $950K as of July 1. Now, Tanner signed the offer on Wednesday, and we have some details. Here's an incentive in the contract. Tanner is due a $100,000 raise if, 1, UNC gains entry to the NCAA men's basketball tournament, or 2, the UNC men's basketball program receives a signed commitment of no less than 1 athlete with a 4 or 5-star ranking during the preceding contract year, according to the letter. I'm going to break that down in more simple terms. Jim Tanner gets an extra $100K from the school if the men's basketball program either makes the NCAA tournament or signs at least 1 4 or 5-star recruit.
Isn't that what his base salary is for?
If you are hiring a GM and you are the North Carolina Tar Heels and you think there is a snowball's chance in the hot place that you will not, in at least every year, either make the tournament or sign a 4-star recruit, don't hire that guy. And if you think it is a foregone conclusion that it will always happen, you will at least do one of those 2 things, why put the clause in the contract? Put this one next to the $10 million buyout for Belichick that went down to $1 million before he ever coached a game. Once he signed the contract, Bill Belichick did to be the UNC football coach. If he wanted to leave, it was going to cost him $10 million back to the school. And then before he ever coached a game, in the middle of the summer, it dropped to $1 million. Why? No clue. They go down into the why is that clause there contract Hall of Fame. And finally, Big 3 at 3 finishes up with number 3.
Number 3.
Hall of Fame game on Thursday. Hall of Fame game on Thursday. The Chargers and the Lions, kind of. Football is back. You're going to hear me say this a whole bunch this week. I consider football to be like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still good. Right? Bad pizza, it's like, you know what, I'm going to have 2 slices. Great pizza, you're going to have 6. But either way, you're still getting full. Football's like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still good. And it'll probably be bad football on Thursday. But it is one of the only games, one of the only football games. And now I'm just talking personally, just being selfish. Going to give you 2 minutes into the mind of me. It is one of the only games I get to watch completely for fun and entertainment. Because like if I'm watching a Panther game, if I'm watching Monday Night Football, my brain is how can I talk about this on the show? What's the angle here? What can the Panthers learn? What is this young guy worth the money he's going to be receiving? Whatever it is, I'm thinking. For this one, for the opener, 1 week before the rest of the league opens up, preseason game, absolutely no opinions because it doesn't matter at all. We used to actually think if you played in that game, it was a negative. We used to think if you played in that game, that meant the team didn't care if you got hurt. So, like, it was a bad thing. But then Josh Jacobs played. He was with the Raiders. He played, like, the entire first quarter, had a bunch of carries, and then led the league in rushing that year. And we went, all right, can't even think that anymore. So it means nothing. So it's just mindless entertainment of watching football.
It's just preseason, but a little bit earlier.
It's preseason, and it's glorious. I will say this, just as a question, and maybe someone out there can answer it, at Donnelly Sports on Twitter. The main inductees for the Hall of Fame this year are Eric Allen, Sterling Sharp, Jared Allen, and Antonio Gates. Why are the Lions playing in the Hall of Fame game? When I think of Eric Allen, I think of the Eagles. When I think of Sterling Sharp, Packers, Jared Allen, I mean...
My thought is Vikings, but...
Vikings, Panthers, right? Chiefs, he bounced around a decent amount. And Antonio Gates, Chargers. So the Chargers make sense, right? Everybody's going to be there to see Antonio Gates go into the Hall. I have no idea why the Lions are playing. Grab one of the teams from the guys that are there and, it'll at least be a better crowd because everyone's there to see the speeches and everything.
It's like Thanksgiving. They've always just kind of played there, so just throw them in there.
No, usually it is 2 teams that have like the 2 biggest names going into the Hall of Fame because everybody is there to see the speeches and then they can catch a game with their favorite team. But I don't know. The Lions just kind of snuck in there. They're America's team, I guess. Everybody's that excited about Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I guess we're kind of saying the same thing that we'd say at Thanksgiving. Like, why are the Lions in this? But now they're good.
I was going to say.
Now no one's saying it, but
we said that for a long
while
time.
They did.
From Barry Sanders to like 2 years ago, we were saying that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Big 3 at 3. When we come back, I have bought all the stock I can in one young Carolina Panther, and I'm trying to buy more. I'll tell you why next. Stick around.
It's Bo time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's Bo time.
There's no time like Bo time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog Combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me something simple and true. All I I need is sunshine and that cool, refreshing Mountain Dew. Yes, give me my good friends, give me that Dew.
Grab some ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Rock out with your favorite bands at Lost 80s Live at Cocoa Booth Amphitheater, August 3rd. Grab your tickets at etix.com today.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Max, I see what you're doing here. Dan Morgan wants dogs. He may have gotten one in Princeley Umanmielen. 3rd round pick. I'm all in. I've not been this. First of all, it's a risk right here, right? Because everything we say comes with receipts. So this could be waved back in my face in a big way. Princeley Umanmielen is my kind of edge rusher. I think there are certain positions that need to flirt with the line between confident and arrogant, and maybe live on the arrogant side of that line. And I said it from the very beginning, which is why I'm so proud to have bought a lot of stock in Princeley Umanmielen right after the draft. As soon as the Panthers, first of all, I like the tape. I thought he was springy, little undersized, but he's fast. He is to me, kind of a one-trick pony right now in the NFL in that he gets after the quarterback, but I think that's something the Panthers desperately need. So if the one trick you have is something the team needs, it makes sense, right? That is need meeting opportunity. But then the Panthers put out one of their behind-the-scenes YouTube clips of the draft. And when they called Princeley Umanmielen to say, are you ready to be a Panther? I forget how they worded it. It was the 3rd round, right? Do you want to come to Carolina? And he said, what took you so long? And then they kept talking, and he said, I'm going to make you break the bank in 3 or 4 years. I went, I don't know if I would want to, have this guy be my roommate. I don't know if I want to hang out with this guy a lot. But I want him on my football team rushing the quarterback. I want to be, as a quarterback, I want to be jawing with him in practice. As a offensive lineman, I want him testing me during practice. And all he's done since then is, during the very, very, very short sample size that we've been given, he's lived up to the trash talk, and he's continued to talk trash. He's continued to talk trash. Now, there's 2 things about it that make it even better. 2 things about it that make me believe this isn't just somebody who is, the worst character of Terrell Owens, right? That just the most me first, all of this. There's 2 things. One is he's become really good friends with Nick Scorton. Nick Scorton, 2nd round pick, same position from the SEC, both all SEC, and they've worked out together. They've gotten to know each other, which tells me there is a kind of us against the world mentality. He does understand it is a team sport, and it's not all about you. It's about being on a dominant defense. And then 2, his confidence or his arrogance does come out in weirdly team-first ways.
Yeah.
For example, and Max is laughing because he knows the clip we have. For example, he was on, what was this, like an unboxing stream? He was opening boxes.
I don't know what it was originally from, but he's streaming something.
It's like his own little personal deal.
His, apartment or something.
I was going to say, my guess is it's fan, stuff to get autographed or something.
Streaming on Twitch or something.
And he started looking in the chat, and people were talking about Ike Ekwonu. Now, Princeley Umanmielen, over the first couple of days of practice, had beaten Ike Ekwonu for some high-profile sacks, right? One that he got in trouble for smacking the ball out of Bryce Young's hands.
He strip-sacked Bryce.
And then the next day, again, beat Ike Ekwonu on a everybody watching sack. And the chat started talking about Ike, basically saying, should we be worried about Ike if you're beating him, every practice? And with a little bit of editing just to make the language radio friendly.
Yes, to make FCC approved.
Here's what Princeley Umanmielen said.
Oh my gosh, what does this say about Icky? Icky this, Icky that. Bro, Icky is a great offensive tackle. I'm just like that. What the f? Yo, what's good? Icky is a great offensive tackle, bro. I'm just cold as f, fam.
Yeah. Icky isn't playing bad. I'm just that good is essentially what he was saying there.
I'm cold as...
That is two things. That is one, a good teammate, step into the defense of his team, and two, a wildly arrogant player. I think that's what you wanted at edge. I think that's what you want at edge. And here's why. It's actually, there's two positions I think you need to be that. You need to be wildly arrogant. One, wide receiver. Two, edge rusher. Do you know what they have in common? One play. If you're an edge rusher, you can play an entire game. If you have one all-world play per game, you're an all-pro. You might have 40 pass rushing snaps. You get blocked. You get stonewalled on 39 of them. If you have one great one, the spin move works, the swim move works, and you light up the quarterback, that's 17 sacks. That's an all-pro season. Wide receiver, similar, right? It might be 3. But if you're a wide receiver and you have 3 20-yard catches, that's a great day. You're gonna catch 1,000 yards. You might run 50 routes, including decoy routes on run plays. You might run 50 routes if you're out there all the time. So you have to be weirdly arrogant in that you could lose the rep. You could not have the ball thrown to you. You could get blocked squarely 15 straight attempts. And you have to line up for that next play like I'm unbeatable. Nobody's ever stopped me. There's not a offensive lineman in the league that could lock me up. Because you have to go out there and give your best and try hard. It's the thing I say about wide receivers. I want my wide receivers to think they're open every play. Wide open every play. Whether they are or not. Do you know why? Because people run harder when they're open. Because they think the ball's coming. If you're like, oh, man, I'm covered, guess what you're going to do? Slow down. Ball's not coming to me. I know I'm covered. I want you sitting there saying, I was wide open, and we watch film, you're double covered. I'm like, you think what you think. Doesn't mean I'm going to throw you the ball. You think what you think. I want Princeley Umanmielen thinking every single pass rushing snap, if he doesn't get the sack, he was close. He was right there. Because think about anything in life. Think about, for those of you that have dunked a basketball, okay? If you've ever dunked a basketball or you've gotten close, there is nothing worse than getting the entire ball, the entire hand above the rim, and throwing it off the back of the rim and having it bounce all the way back towards half court.
That happened a few times in NBA Summer League. I was like, come on, guys. You're tall enough. Just put it in there.
I mean, they can dunk, which is different. But when you get super duper close, you stay in that gym all night. Your legs could be shot, but you're like, no, I almost had it. No, I almost had it, because you keep going for it. Meanwhile, if you're somebody that can barely grab net, you're not going to keep jumping. You're going to do it 3 times, and you're going to go, oh, well, I'm not a dunker. So I want Umanmielen, even when he barely grazes the net, to think, I almost got that down, because then you come back harder the next one. Then you're spitting on your hands and you're wiping the bottom of your shoes because it was just the grip that got you. This time of year, I'm not counting stats from drills. I don't know who's doing it in Cleveland. I hate that it goes viral, where I see the 4 quarterbacks, although 3 now because Kenny Pickett's hurt, but the 4 quarterbacks, 8 of 11, 4 of 7. Yeah. I don't care about stats from drills, but you can get to know guys.
I mean, yeah. Shedeur Sanders only went 3 for 8 though.
3
that's
for 8.
A little concerning.
There's been multiple days where none of them threw an interception.
Yeah, and only one person threw 1 touchdown.
Yeah, it's again, I don't care. I hate that I know this.
And it was Dylan Gabriel.
I hate that I know this. I'm not counting stats from drills. So I don't care that Princeley Umanmielen has 2 sacks in team drills or 4 sacks. I don't care what he has. I love his attitude. I love his attitude. And then I love that there is that sibling thing, which is like he can pick on Ike Ekwonu, but the moment somebody else does, he's coming to his defense. I love the attitude. I don't know if I've said this before, but I've thought it a lot. Nice guys finish with 7 sacks. Arrogant dudes finish with 17 sacks. And that the difference between 7, which is good, you're going to be in the NFL a long time, you're going to probably play for 4 teams, but they're all going to be excited to have you. The difference between 7 sacks a year and 17 sacks a year, I mean, I can do math. It's 10 plays a season. It's 10 plays a season.
The margins, too, in the NFL are so thin. Like, that could flip a game. That could flip multiple
100%.
games with that many plays.
100%. Especially if you are on the Carolina Panthers, who last year had a bunch of games that came down to the wire. And, yeah, I've talked about this. I like Bryce Young in moments where he's got the ball, he's got 2 minutes, he's got 1:30, he's got, 98 seconds, however you want to describe it. I like Bryce Young in those situations.
He had a couple good 2-minute drills. I remember the one against the Eagles where Leggett ended up dropping the pass, but that was a great drive, and Bryce had a great pass to, I believe it was to Leggett as well, kind of out of their own end zone to keep that drive alive.
He has a good amount of overtime wins. He's set up game. Like, I like him in those moments. The defense might have to get him there a few times. And if Princeley Uman can take a 2nd and 6 and turn it into a 3rd and 12, and now you're getting off the field and getting Bryce that opportunity, it could literally change losses to wins on 10 plays a year. I'm in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in on Princeley Uman.
Yeah, especially they won 5 games last year, and with a pretty objectively, worst defense statistically in the league, and they still managed to win 5 games. Like, even if it's
for sure
average, you got to figure there's a pretty good jump there.
I've said this before. I just need them not in the bottom 10. Be the 22nd or better best defense. And I think this team, we're not talking playoffs or contending or anything, although if you want to do it, go ahead. But I think you're easily hitting your over. You are easily taking the next step, and everybody is easily excited in Dave Canales and what he's building. But you need guys like Princeley Uman to step up. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. When we return, the Dean's List, including a local coach that named names. Stick around.
Discover the thrill of precision and elegance with Omega. From the depths of the ocean to the heights of space, Omega's Seamaster and Speedmaster collections are crafted for those who dare to explore. With a heritage rooted in innovation and a timeless style inspired by sports, space, and cinematic legends, Omega is made for every adventure. Find your perfect watch at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted best jeweler. Learn more at baileybox.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Fill your tank. Don't drain your wallet. Sam's Club lets you save time at the pump with Scan and Go checkout at Sam's Club fuel stations. Just scan the QR code on the pump and pay. Visit your local Sam's Club today.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. On a Monday, I'm excited because the NFL kind of plays football on Thursday, which means we're not that far from college football or real NFL football, which means we're not that far. I like this time of year, I put together my planner because it's one of the nerdy things I do, and I put all the local teams and all the everything on the calendar so I can see who's home, who's away. We're also not that far from like the Carolina Hurricanes. We're not that far from having some Saturdays where, there's college football all day pending a couple of TBD times, right into a Canes game at night. Like we're almost in the glory days.
I cannot wait.
We're almost in the glory days.
73 days, I believe, until opening night for the Hurricanes.
And preseason before that.
Again, preseason I just can't get juiced up for it.
I like real preseason games. And in the NHL they kind of do, because I like seeing
That's true.
That's the only time we're going to see probably Nadeau or Unger Sorm or some of these guys. In the NFL, it's a little different because they don't have prospects, really. I mean, I guess practice squad, but that's a different beast. They're not calling up their AAA guys to play in the preseason, and they're just guys off the street that are going to go back to somebody's couch in about 3 weeks. Either way, if you hear a little extra chipper in my voice, that's why. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's go ahead and hit the Dean's List. This is where we give a little extra accolade, a few extra praises to people either directly or indirectly related to the college sports world. And I'm starting with North Carolina Central football coach Trey Oliver, because he did the thing that I've been calling for everybody to do. And this is obviously local because it's NC Central, but it's also national because I want every coach to do this. He named names. Now, he didn't say specific names, but he said a school, and I'll take it. Oliver, as this season gets started and coaches are being interviewed, was asked, what was the craziest thing about last year? And he said he found a Virginia Tech assistant coach on the sideline for one of NC Central's games last year. And then Oliver he suggested that coach was there to recruit NC Central star running back Jamari Taylor into the transfer portal. Now, I believe this was the Howard game for NC Central that he was talking about, which would mean Virginia Tech had an assistant. If Oliver's accusations are true, and whatever terms I have to say here, allegedly innocent till proven whatever, if his accusations are true, Virginia Tech had an assistant coach go to a game that had nothing to do with Virginia Tech to recruit an active member of another school to join them through the transfer portal. Now, do I think that is outlandish and impossible? No, because it's modern college football, and we know tampering exists because every coach says tampering's running rampant. But what they don't do is name names. Now, what you have to do is continue to name names, and then the punishers that be, right, whoever ends up being the ones with the power, have to somehow punish those that get caught, because that's the only thing that's going to deter other teams from doing it. But do you want a little bit of karmic justice? Guess where Jamari Taylor went? He did hit the transfer portal, and he did go to a Power 4 conference school in the state of Virginia, but not Virginia Tech. He went to UVA. So they tampered with him. I'm not saying it directly led to this, but he ended up at Virginia Tech's direct rival. NC Central coach Trey Oliver, probably rooting for UVA pretty aggressively in that game. But I like when you name names, because other than that, you're not helping the cause. And we've heard it over and over again. UConn's coach Gilmore Jr. was the first I heard it. It said, tampering, we have proof. Okay. Didn't do it. Never put it out there. I think Coastal's baseball coach said there's tampering, we have proof. Didn't give the proof. Now, I hope NC Central's coach has some proof. That'd be nice. But at least he put a name out there, so now the investigators that be can go investigate and find out if there's fire where that smoke exists. Max, do you have a Dean's List you'd like to throw out here?
I do. This news, I don't know if it necessarily broke. We got some clarity on it earlier today. I'll give a Dean's List to Deion Sanders. Some positive news medically. He had a tumor removed, and as of now, he is cancer-free. So there are definitely, I'd seen a lot of concerns about his health, especially as of recently. But again, to the press conference, the medical team, as of now, clean bill of health. I have read that whatever cancer or tumor that he was dealing with, there is a decent rate of recurrence. So fingers crossed, doesn't come back. But as of now, cancer-free for Deion Sanders. So I'll throw a Dean's List out there for him.
Shout out to Prime. His medical team announced that he had the bladder tumor removed, and they used the term in the press conference, cured from the cancer. So that's, about as good news as you could hope. And do you know what else I like about it? He, obviously that's a tough thing to deal with, and it's taxing, and he missed some team events and things for it. But he showed up at the press conference where they were making this announcement, full prime time, full Deion. He had denim overalls. He had the big chain around his neck. He had the cowboy hat. He had the shades. Like, he didn't change him, right? Still prime. More Dean's List here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. I'm throwing the ACC football as a whole out there. Now, it is full 100% list season, right? You're catching every kind of ranking, every kind of preseason ranking, every kind of everything. We're also getting watch lists. The Maxwell Award watch list came out, which is best player in the country, player of the year, right? It's similar to the Heisman, just a different one, nearly as prestigious. But they put out their watch list. Ready for this? There are two conferences tied with the most players on the Maxwell Award watch list. The SEC and the ACC. Eat that, Big Ten. 17 selections on the list for both the SEC and the ACC. It is a tie. 11 quarterbacks from the ACC on the list.
Is CJ Bailey one of them?
CJ Bailey is one of them. Clemson, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Pitt, and Virginia Tech each had 2 players recognized, while Duke, Florida State, Miami, NC State, SMU, Virginia, and Wake Forest each had 1 honoree. That's what's up. And I'm only saying this like half jokingly. Like, part of it is, this list doesn't matter. My favorite part about the watch lists, because they do the preseason watch list, the midseason watch list, and the finalist list. You can be added to the list at any point. It's not like they only select from the previous list as like a pool of candidates. So being on the list doesn't really do anything, right? You could, like, if you have a good first month, you'll be on the midseason list, whether you're on the watch list or not. But it's still a general guide to who has the players with the top end potential. And, any chance to scream into a microphone that the ACC is as respected or as talented or as top heavy or as star driven as the SEC, and more so than the Big Ten, I think is something, I'd like to use as an opportunity to continue blasting propaganda out there to support the Atlantic Coast Conference. Speaking of, there's a new coach in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Jake Dickert, Wake Forest. Bet you thought I was going to say Belichick. Jake Dickert makes the list. It was revealed earlier today, Wake Forest will play Notre Dame in the Duke's Mayo Classic in Charlotte, North Carolina on October 9th, 2027. Now, first of all, you may be saying 2027, what are we doing here? That's actually relatively soon for a scheduled football game.
That's only 2 years from now.
Sometimes it's like they're playing a home and home starting in 2037. It's like the kids aren't even born yet. They are, but still. I like a player, a coach, a administrator that seeks out tough games. And Notre Dame is one of the few. No matter when you schedule them, there's a good chance they're going to be talented, right? They recruit well. They have the money. They have their independent status that they cling to so aggressively. Planning games against Notre Dame, that's a tough one. Wake Forest right now, you can order them however you want to. I think there's a obvious bottom tier in the ACC. Wake Forest, Cal, and Stanford are amongst those 3.
I think Wake is at the top of that tier.
I'm fine with that. Admittedly, haven't paid nearly as much attention to Cal or Stanford. But I'm fine if you say Wake Forest is at the top. But I talked to Jake Dickert at ACC kickoff. I like his energy. I'm digging his vibe. And I like that he's like, no, by 2027, we're going to be ready for that fight. It's almost like a deadline, right? That's the year we have to be ready to go with the big dogs from the jump, because it's going to be the kickoff classic in Charlotte.
Or the midseason classic.
Yeah, I guess it's October 9th. But still.
Yeah,
it's right there in the mix.
Yeah, it's kind of good to see. It's almost like he's building it in a similar way that Dave Clawson did, where the first couple seasons weren't really focused on winning that many games, just kind of building in that culture and building up the program.
Mm-hmm.
And then by year 3, they started going to bowl games, and they went to like 6 or 7 in a row, which they hadn't done before, which was nice.
And I like this being the timeline. I do think it takes a while in the transfer world when a new coach takes over and a lot of guys leave. 2027 is probably when, all right, coach,
this is your roster.
You better at least look like something, right? I'm not saying you got to win 10 games, but you better look like something. And, a big premier game in Charlotte against Notre Dame, that's an opportunity for you to look like something.
While we're talking about Wake Forest, this just came across my feed. I felt like I should mention this is from running from the OPS, running from the ops on Twitter, or X, I suppose they call it now. It's a graphic listing the Major League Baseball leaders over the last month in a variety of hitting categories. The leader in home runs is Nick Curts.
Okay,
12 home runs. RBIs, Nick Curts.
Yep.
Batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, WOBA, WRC+, F4, barrels. Nick Curts is the league leader in every single one over the last month. So, good. The Wake Forest baseball product, he's just one of many. Chase Burns, Gavin Sheets, a few that have come out of there over the last couple of years. So another Dean's list.
Can you imagine how famous Nick Curts would be if he wasn't playing for the A's?
Well, just wait till they play in Vegas in a couple of years. He's going to be
now you're talking.
Box office.
He has a game like he did on Friday. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have winners and losers coming up. Who won and who lost the last week in all of sports? We'll tell you next.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Offer ends July 31st.
See Home Club for details.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Now that it's hot outside, everybody's spending more time outside. And I have noticed that there are people that have gutter issues, whether there's stuff still stuck up there or a gutter hanging off the house. You can help.
Absolutely, Adam. And let me tell you this. If you're looking up and it looks like a garden in your gutters, you need to call the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. We have the gutter helmet, which will keep you from cleaning out the inside of your gutters for as long as you own the home. We can also replace the existing gutters. We can replace any rotten wood. We're a one-stop shop company that can take care of all your home improvement needs, whether it's gutters, windows, siding, doors, roofing. We really can turnkey the whole project and make an easy, comfortable payment through some of our 12-month interest-free financing options, and then you get a lifetime warranty at the end of it all.
12 months interest-free?
You heard that right.
12 months interest-free. AluminumCompany.com.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Why world-class? Because it has a crisp and superior taste. That's world-class. It has only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. That's very world-class. So, if I'm seen drinking it by association, am I world-class? Oh yeah, Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Did
Did you catch Luisito's header?
Yeah, I just recorded it on my new Samsung A36 5G phone I got for free at Total Wireless.
Oh, I'm actually live streaming the whole match with my new Samsung Tab A9 that I also got free at Total Wireless.
I got that tablet too.
And I got that phone too. We both got both.
Go!
Switch to Total Wireless and get both the Samsung A36 5G and the Samsung Tab A9 for free. For a limited time while supplies last, valid in store. Requires new phone activation on the Total 5G Unlimited plan or higher external port and ID verification and new activation on the Total 5G Unlimited 6-month tablet plan. Restrictions apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe to our YouTube, please. 99.9 The Fan. Search for it. Subscribe. We are building a community there, trying to, and we want you to be a part of it. Jump in the discourse, scream, yell in the comments, and then make up and say, it's so fun to argue with you and create friendships. I don't know where this is going. My point is, subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. We'd greatly appreciate it. And you can check out our live stream, waving to all of you out there in YouTube land. Right now, it is time for Winners and Losers.
This team will never lose again.
Winners and losers, this is who won and who lost the last week, and we are looking for something more creative than this team scored more than the other, so they win. It's a vibe. It's an aura thing. Who won and who lost? Winner, Scotty Scheffler. I'll try not to spoil anything for you, but he's in the promos and everything. Scotty Scheffler can't miss right now.
No, he can't.
He's one of the funniest parts of Happy Gilmore, too. And he showed up at the premiere with
the claret jug,
the trophy from winning the Open Championship. It's pretty sweet. And then to go sit down and watch and have everybody laugh at your jokes, which are appropriately self-depreciating and also hilarious. We can talk about the movie as a whole later, but Scotty Scheffler, winner, man. You know, people made fun of him for saying, like, golf doesn't fulfill him. I wonder if being, like, the funniest part in an Adam Sandler movie is something that's, like, going to give him a little joy. Loser. The one Hall of Fame voter that didn't vote in Ichiro. He had all but one. Almost the second unanimous Hall of Famer in baseball history. And Ichiro gave him kind of the business in his acceptance speech. I've got a couple quotes here. 3,000 hits or 262 hits in one season are achievements recognized by the writers. Except, one of you, says Ichiro. After the laughter subsided, Ichiro then recalled a comment he had made back when the voting was revealed. He said he wanted to host the one writer that didn't vote for him because he wanted to ask him, like, you know, what's up, man? And in his speech, he said, the offer to the one writer to have dinner at my home has now expired. So now you don't even get to go hang out with Ichiro. Real lose-lose situation there for the writer that didn't vote in. One of the most electric players of my baseball watching career.
Fumbled it on both sides.
I mean, especially when he burst onto the scene, it's nuts. Of all of the players that have made the 3,000 hit club, all the others had at least, I think it's 560 hits when they turned 26. Ichiro had 0 because he hadn't even made it to major leagues yet. He was still playing in Japan until he was 27. And he still made it to well over 3,400 hits, I think it was. Do you have some winners and losers you want to throw in here, Max?
Yeah. Winner. This just happened right before the show as well. We'll go Cortland Sutton, a winner. Getting paid. He just signed a 4-year, I believe, $92 million extension. Maybe I got in the wrong line of work. Maybe I should have trained to be a wide receiver from when I was young, because if Cortland Sutton's making that much, I mean, that market is just going to be, I can't even imagine for some other receivers soon, but it's going to be big. Really
Baseball,
big.
Basketball, soccer. Football doesn't have the best pay structure.
Definitely not hockey, I'll say that for sure. Not that I was ever going to be good enough to sign one of those contracts, but of all the sports to pick, definitely the lowest earning potential out of the 4 there.
Sometimes I do think it's funny and this is like hockey players are the toughest people on the planet, right? Like the ultimate, like you never want to accidentally, like the guy did at the golf course, accidentally get in fight with a hockey player you didn't know. But sometimes I do think it's funny that I was a average size quarterback in a FCS school. I would be like the biggest dude on a hockey rink. I'm basically Alexander Nikishin's size, which now I'm not saying at all I am as physical or as physically gifted as he is, but I do think it's like, man, just picked the wrong sport. Should have learned to skate backwards.
Oh yeah.
Instead, too much time throwing a football.
Wish I had played golf earlier too, which actually brings me. I do have a loser as well.
Okay.
And it pains me to do it, but I'm gonna have to give it to Akshay Bhatia. Was tied for the lead at the 3M Open heading into yesterday, Sunday, the final round. By the time he had finished the third hole, he was 6 shots back of the leader, who would eventually go on to win, and that was Kurt Kitayama. And on a day when the scoring average was a hair under 69, Akshay ended up shooting 75 and finished somewhere down here. But it's pains me as the local guy. I was rooting for him so hard, but maybe the next time.
He is a resident of Wake Forest, I believe. His strokes lost versus the field, I believe he's played 350 rounds on tour. I believe it was his 5th worst. So it's one of those, you hope that's the moment he looks back on, and that's when everything clicked, right? He realized, collapsing in the end didn't break him. So now the next time it won't be as aggressive or as intense. But yeah, it's definitely a hard one to watch. Loser because of the Cortland Sutton deal. Terry McLaurin, I guess, but also the Commanders. I think Terry McLaurin's a no-doubt extension. I think he's necessary for Washington, but kind of established 1,000-yard receiver. Cortland Sutton with a rookie quarterback last year. Cortland Sutton just got $23 million a year. The reports are that Terry McLaurin's not coming back for anything more than 33 plus. He wants that DK Metcalf plus money. And it just seems like the Cortland Sutton deal probably took away some of his leverage. But then also the Commanders don't have their number 1 wide receiver for their rising quarterback. So it's losers all around in Washington.
It's a tough situation, but that's how it goes with the contract negotiations oftentimes.
Winner. You said it already. I'm going to say it again. Nick Curts. And you can talk about the last month or whatever. I'm talking about just Friday versus Houston.
Yeah, but I would say probably best game ever. It's up there.
Jeff Passan, I'll read Jeff Passan. Well, first of all, the stats. He went 6 for 6 with 4 home runs, 6 runs scored, and 8 RBIs. Jeff Passan, who covers Major League Baseball as well as anyone for ESPN. This is his words, not mine. Never in baseball's 150-year history has a player finished a game with at least 6 hits, 6 runs, and 8 RBIs until Nick Curts tonight. His 19 total bases ties Sean Green's single-game record, and Curts had 1 more RBI than Green. There's a genuine argument it is the best game ever.
The only other one that I can think of that I would think would stack up is when Ohtani created the 50-50 last year. He went 6 for 6. Only had 3 home runs in that game. He also had 10 RBIs and 2 stolen bases. So, but it's crazy. We've seen 2 of undoubtedly the best individual performances of all time within 10 months of each other.
And also, Shohei, by that point, was an established star. Nick Curts has been in Major League Baseball for 60 games.
He's a rookie, and he's leading all those stats for the entire league in the last month.
2 years ago, he was playing for Wake Forest as they were, climbing the postseason bracket. And now he's maybe the hottest hitter in Major League Baseball. I saw something that said there's some combination, 6 hits, or a 6-hit game, a 4 home run game, a 6-run game, and an 8 RBI game. Nobody in baseball history has done all 4 of those in a career, and he did it in 1 game. That's pretty darn impressive. That's pretty ridiculous. All right, last one. Winner. This guy does a lot of winning. Michael Jordan. His NASCAR team, along with Denny Hamlin.
Yes, Bubba.
2311. Bubba Wallace, one of their drivers, overcame a late rain delay, a couple of overtimes, and a hard-charging. I'm reading this straight from the ESPN article.
No, I watched the race, so I can.
All right, go ahead. Go into it.
He was in the lead. He had a big lead with 4 laps left. They bring out the caution flag for rain and actually pull everyone off. So it looked like it might have hurt him. They go back out, and then they're showing the fuel on the screen as well, and they weren't sure if he was going to have enough gas to finish. They do one overtime, there's a wreck. They have to go back and do it again, and they're really not sure. He ran it all the way to the end and managed to pick up a win for the first time. It was a 100-race winless streak, and he got the win, and now he's secured a spot in the playoffs for NASCAR as well.
And the venue, and you got the brick and everything else. Like, it's just it shout out to Michael Jordan. I can't, like, pretty soon, right? That racing team is going to be just dominating because that's what Michael Jordan does, right? I've heard that their facilities are bananas, and they have entire rooms dedicated to like sneakers and stuff because it's Jordan. But then also it's NASCAR. It's all crazy. He doesn't win a ton of fishing tournaments though. That's kind of the one thing that's eluding him. The one out there in Wilmington. There's one in Ocean City, Maryland that at least his boat goes to every year, and they don't win him.
I mean, you can't be a champion at everything.
Tell that to Michael Jordan. I bet you he'll bet you on it.
I'll bet he won't win whatever.
I bet you he'll bet enough that makes you uncomfortable.
Unless he's putting weights in the fish like those guys a couple of years ago. But that's cheating.
Michael Jordan has integrity. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break. Football at 4 coming up next, and we're looking at a very specific position battle for the Carolina Panthers. Stick around.
Hey, daydreamer. Did we catch you thinking about your dreams? With Wells Fargo Premier, a team can help you plan for them. So let's imagine your biggest dream. Not the easy one, the one behind it. The one you work towards every day and every night. Can you see it? Then we can help you plan for it. Ready to start planning for your dreams? You can at wellsfargo.com/getpremier.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included. Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. All kinds of beers and thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Be careful out there this afternoon. We have an excessive heat warning. It is a WRAL weather alert day, a high of 98. It'll feel like 110 to 115. A few isolated storms pop up late this afternoon and evening, and those will die down after sunset. We'll see a low tonight of 78. More of the same tomorrow. It'll feel like 105 to 110. We'll be under a heat advisory with a high of 97. But a big break in our heat by Friday into the weekend. Highs are in the 80s.
Weather update brought to you by Umanmielen Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit umanmielen.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 66 points to 44,835.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4. Just after hearing the weather report and the weekend, I did some yard work. August is always I use this example all the time. If you ever played football, if you did the Pop Warner thing all the way up through high school, college, however far you made it, pros, August is the month that is like weird. Like you didn't know that was summer, right? Because your entire life, that was when you hit training camp. And then when you retire, you're like, oh my goodness, people still go to the beach. Like the pool is still open in August. This is awesome. And it's like, oh, this hot weather can be used as an asset. Right, I can use that to, work up a little sweat and then jump in the pool and feel refreshed, to have a cold drink. Because when you're playing, it's just, that's going to make me sweat through my pads faster than ever. Carolina Panthers had a 20-degree cold trailer. They have like a super scientific-y trailer that they drag in that I guess it's like the new ice bath where just inside the trailer it's 20 degrees. And you go in, stay in for a certain amount of time, and that's supposed to recover you the way ice baths used to, or maybe better, I'd assume, which is kind of cool, right? And just other ways to battle late July and August, which is always exciting because it stinks. It's awful. I was talking about this the other day. Pros, I'm sure it's different. College, it definitely was different. The worst two-a-days were high school. Because between two-a-days, there was no laundry service. There was no drying out your pads. There was no fans in the hooks. All you did was put on squishy, wet gear and go back out there 4 hours after your first practice. I don't think the Panthers are dealing with that. But as we move to football at 4, they are dealing with some of the same things you deal with in high school, which is the counting of reps, which is seeing who's going out there with the first unit, right? When coach is like, all right, first unit, get out there. Jimmy, Joe, Bob, you guys got the first reps. Everybody else is like, man, darn, I wanted to go with the first team. Right? The people that are throwing, like if the quarterbacks are rotating through, the wide receivers are running the routes, you're counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, because you want to make sure you're catching the ball from the starting quarterback. Like that happens every level. And you could argue it's even higher stakes in the pros, right? Because a lot of high schools, they don't cut, right? So you're always a certain amount of injuries away from getting in the game at least. In the pros, it's like, I might have to get a job if this doesn't work out, right? I might have to go, use my degree in something other than sports if this doesn't work out. So let's look at the Panthers wide receivers. If the Panthers want to start the year with 7 wide receivers on the roster, I think they're good, and I'll give you the 7. It gets interesting, though, if they want to go down to 6. And most teams in the league do run with 6 or 7 wide receivers on their initial 53-man roster. If they run with 7, it's Umanmielen, Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen, Jimmy Horn Jr., and this is in no particular order, but it's just the ones that I thought of as kind of locks first. So the 2 draft picks and the 2 most obvious veteran keeps. Jalen Coker, who had a really good year last year. Hunter Renfrow, who is turning heads in a whole bunch of different ways at camp, and David Moore, who appears to be like the teddy bear or blankie of Dave Canales, just somebody who he's wildly comfortable with. For more on Umanmielen, Bryce Young, his quarterback, talked about the feel for the game that T-Mac has already.
Yeah, he has a great feel. He does a great job of understanding man versus zone, understanding when to get into certain windows, and then also has a great knack for as soon as he catches the ball and secures it, he becomes a runner, which is it's what you love from a quarterback when you can get a 15-yard dig and it can turn into an explosive even beyond that. So it was great to see. We know he's capable of it. We have a ton of guys that do that. Coach does a great job of coaching on that. So it's exciting.
Umanmielen is living up to expectations. Granted, we are getting the not rose-colored, like Carolina Panthers colors glasses view of that. Like everything's tinted towards positivity. We're seeing the clips where he wins. We're hearing about how awesome he is. Nobody is going to go up after talking to the media and go, Tedero ran 4 wrong routes in team today. So Bryce couldn't throw it to him because he was expecting a dig and he got a corner route. Like we're not going to get any of that. But it does appear when, in physical challenges, when the ball's in the air, when a pass is off target, he's doing the things necessary to make the catches. Bryce Young also talked about Renfrow. That's Hunter Renfrow, because Dabo Sweeney was at practice today for the Panthers, watching his old wide receiver, Hunter Renfrow, caught a national championship winning catch for him for Clemson. Dabo Sweeney referenced that Hunter Renfrow looks like a normal person. Then he puts his pads on and becomes Superman. Bryce Young was asked if that is true about Renfrow, and this is what Bryce Young said.
I mean, I don't think I'm at liberty to say what a normal person looks like. But I do know the football player and the competitor he is. Again, he's putting it on film. He's been doing it his whole career. He's doing it out here in training camp. It's one of the fun ones when you go back and watch the film after this, and you get to see just how he got where he did. It's been fun. So yeah, it's great to watch him compete.
Is it great to watch him compete?
Yeah, he said at the start of his presser he's a little bit sick, but maybe it's more so he sounds as young as he looks now.
Oh, I get like a little squeaky.
It's like maybe a Benjamin Button thing.
I thought he sounded a little bit like Doc Rivers. I'm just out here run a baseline inbound. Get the ball to Blake. Get the ball to Blake. No, it's he's barking cadences all the time. How about a little warm water with some honey in it for you? Lots of hydration. As somebody that speaks for a living, and by the way, if you've listened long enough, you've heard entire shows where I sounded like that. So it happens to the best of us. But, silent count's there for a reason. Clap, stop, clap, stomp, go. Like that kind of deal. Most teams keep 6 or 7 wide receivers. T-Mac's an obvious one. It appears recently that Renfro's an obvious one. 7 is it's okay. All right, if they roll with the 7 I said, McMillan, Leggett, Thielen, Horn, Coker, Renfrow, and more, I don't think anyone would be surprised by that. But I also think this is a team where depth at other positions might be necessary. And if you rotate your guys through a ton, 7, cool, which is something that Dave Canales has done a lot of. He's done, there's nobody out there running 100% of routes. Not since we've seen him kind of as the decision maker. I wonder if that shouldn't change this year. Because now, the difference between physically Teteroa McMillan, Xavier Leggett, and some of the guys towards the end of that list that I mentioned is kind of grand, right? It's a big gap. And they're young, right? Outside of Adam Thielen, it's him and Renfrow are much older, and David Moore. But the rest of them should be able to run all day. Right? It's not like, oh, you ran an 18-yard route. Now you need to tap your head and come out and get an extra 40 seconds to catch your breath. They should be able to run all day. I'm not sure I want McMillan coming out of the game. If Xavier Leggett is what everybody's telling me is, and I am extremely skeptical just based on the history of rookie wide receivers that put up seasons like he did as a rookie, they don't often percentage-wise turn into much. But if that was injury caused and everything else is the same and everybody's excited about it, I don't know if I want the guy that runs the 4.39 coming off the field very often. Jalen Coker, Adam Thielen, if they're going to fill that kind of bigger role and the rowdy role, and then Hunter Renfrow is your 4th wide receiver and 4 wide receiver sets that's running the option routes, I think I might want David Moore to be replaced by somebody with depth at another position. Add another tight end. Who knows what Tommy Tremble's going to be when he comes back from the back stuff he's dealing with. He had back surgery. And if you look at the other tight ends on the roster, it's a second-year player in Jatavian Sanders and a rookie in Mitchell Evans and a journeyman. If you want to go find a true vet to play out there in lieu of or in preparation for Tommy Tremble to not be able to carry the full load, I don't think that 7th wide receiver is a place to go, no, foot down, we need this guy. If you want to grab another running back, right now the 3 obvious running backs, Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, and then your 4th-round pick, Trevor Etienne, if you wanted to keep like a Raheem Blackshear, which would also bring some special team stuff along with Jimmy Horn Jr., because Blackshear can do that, can be that extra pass catcher, then you almost have like your true running back in Chuba, your true running back backup in Rico Dowdle, your pass-catching running back / much more comfortable, catching with his hands, getting out, running routes in Trevor Etienne, and potentially a backup for that position in Raheem Blackshear. I don't hate that. And then also, you'll hear me say it over and over and over again. The defense needs help, needs depth at a lot of positions. I don't think you necessarily take roster spots from the offense and give them to the defense. I think you move them around in the offense. But I'm not 100% sold on keeping 7 wide receivers, is basically what I'm saying here, despite the fact that it seems like everybody's playing well. And David Moore, I saw the clip, right? I saw it. He caught a touchdown over the middle, little in-breaking route, caught it between a couple defenders. Everybody got very excited. But, what can he do that these other guys can't? What can he do that the younger, bigger, stronger, faster guys can't? And I don't think you keep someone around like that for, he's decent on, special teams, unless he's on every special team, right? If you're going to keep him as a special teamer, right? I always loved that Matthew Slater for the Patriots, who's some are arguing, Bill Belichick amongst them, should be a Hall of Famer for his special teams work, was listed as a wide receiver his entire career. It's like, is this guy he's running the post? He's hitting a comeback out here, split out wide? No, he's down there on every single special team. If David Moore does that, throw all this out, right? If he's on punt and kickoff and punt return and kickoff return and this and that and the other, we can make that work. But if I look at this is the way I'll say it. If I look at the 53-man roster and the wide receivers have McMillan, Leggett, Thielen, Horn, Coker, Renfro, and then on the practice squad, there's something like Jacoby George and Kobe Hudson, a couple of wide receivers that are there to call up if you need them, that I think are physically pretty gifted. I don't think you're lacking for anything. And if you're not lacking for anything, you can go spend that at a position where I look at it and go, I think you're lacking there. It's cold-blooded. If Dave Canales likes him that much, boom, quality control assistant, put him on the coaching staff. Which is where the side note here, before we move on, it's where the Matt Nagy rule comes from. Matt Nagy, the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs, former Delaware quarterback, shout out to those of us in the fraternity. He was an intern for the Eagles, and they had a bunch of injuries to their coaching or their quarterbacks. And the coaches were like, the offense, you've been around here. You were playing in Europe last year. So he threw the pads on for a day. And then the NFL made a rule saying coaches can't go directly to the roster because
coaches can't play.
Because they're like, what would stop somebody from just keeping a bunch of backups in all the meetings as coaches? And then if the injuries happened, you would just snap them into the game. So be sure you're not bringing David Moore back, but then you can put him on the coaching staff. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Max and I will duel in a ladder challenge, and we'll hear one of my favorite stories in sports from somebody that lived it. Coming up next, don't go anywhere.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here from my friends over at Loan Pronto. You maxed out on credit cards? Maybe you're struggling with that high-interest debt. You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out now without touching your first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a massive turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Here's the thing. Your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Move your sports day forward.
I've got a nickname for the Carolina Panthers defense this preseason, the Donut D. A big hole in the middle now that linebacker Josie Jewell got his release and Shaq Thompson was cut months ago. If Ejiro Evero gets this D shaped up in time for the regular season and finds a way to stop second-level runs, he gets a medal and a contract extension.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Sports can be unpredictable. Your elevator shouldn't be. That's why you need Metro Elevator, Raleigh's hometown team for expert commercial elevator service. Locally owned and operated, we specialize in keeping your building moving with top-tier repair, maintenance, modernization, and installation. Our highly trained technicians deliver fast, responsive service to ensure your elevators run smoothly. No surprises, just results. Trust Raleigh's own Metro Elevator to keep you moving. Learn more at metro-elevator.com/Raleigh.
At Bailey's, love not only sparkles, but it also gives back. Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey. Yes, we have high-quality certified diamonds that fit your budget. But did you know that when you say I do with an engagement ring from Bailey's, a donation is made to the food bank to help feed a local family of 4 for an entire month? Celebrate your love with Bailey's, where every diamond helps create a brighter future. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted the best place to buy your diamond.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's. Right now, get a 4-piece GE kitchen suite for under $2,000. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt Max XR 8-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. Save big with deals that work as hard as you do. Shop Pro Savings Days in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 8/1. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken in time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There is an article on ESPN.com right now in the college football section that references one of my favorite stories in sports, and we will have one of the main characters from that story, like literally in the story, to join us later on in this segment. So don't go anywhere. It is quite literally one of my favorite stories, and I don't want to spoil any of it because that would take away from the story you're going to hear straight from the horse's mouth in just a little bit. In the meantime, Max and I have a little competing to do because we have a ladder challenge to get to. Do we
ladder challenge music pending?
All right. Well, that'll show up when it shows up. In the meantime, I'll explain it. So, ladder challenge, obviously between Dennis and I, the usual producer here, is a month-long gambling competition. But when we have our fill-ins, like Max, we do a 3-bet, $10 each bet format. There we go. And there's sometimes a theme, there's sometimes a deal, there's sometimes little things that change it up to make it a little spicy. For today, with the Hall of Fame game on Thursday, so it's kind of this is our last chance to completely make NFL bets off of evaluations and off-season movement. Although if you're changing your bets based on the Hall of Fame game, gamble responsibly. But it is our last time without seeing anybody in like even mock game action. So we're doing all futures, all NFL bets, 3 bets, $10 each. And if we remember, we'll revisit these at the end of the season. Max, as the guest to the show, you get to lead things off. Take it away.
You will likely sense a theme in these picks as we go along. For the first one, I'm just going to put some faith in Bryce Young here. I feel like you don't even need that much faith for this pick to hit. I'm going with Bryce Young over 18.5 passing touchdowns this season. Is a minus 102 bet, basically even money. So he basically needs to average just over 1 passing touchdown a game. Got to figure there's going to be a few where he'll have 2. Hopefully somewhere he has 3 or 4. I feel pretty good about this based on his performance the second half of last year. Lock it in. Bryce Young over 18.5 passing touchdowns this season.
Now I will walk right into the same trap because you're going to see me bet a lot of overs here as well. The issue with this, just as kind of somebody that overthinks gambling, there are, what do they say about a pass attempt, right? 3 things can happen, 2 of them are bad. You can complete the pass, you can throw an incomplete, or you can throw an interception. There are way more ways to lose a season-long over because you're sitting here doing the math, right? He only needs to average a little over 1. Or if he's hurt for 7 weeks,
you're cooked.
All of a sudden, it's all done, and that could be a completely fluke thing that has no impact on anything. Or if he's benched, crazier things have happened. We saw it last year. or if Chuba Hubbard has the greatest season in the history of the world and they don't need to throw it at all. Oh, speaking of, Chuba Hubbard over 950.5. So it's 950.5 rushing yards. It's minus 110. So $10 into 1909. I think this is a volume play. I think the way Dave Canales wants to run his offense is to get the ball to his running back a ton. We've seen it with Rachaad White during his time in Tampa. We saw it with Chuba Hubbard last year. And Chuba Hubbard isn't necessarily the world's greatest pass catcher. Right? If he were, I'd be a little nervous because I'm like, 900 rushing yards and 500 receiving yards is 1,400 yards, right? It's the same as 1,400 rushing yards. But I don't see his receiving total eating into his his rushing total as much as maybe other guys would. So give me Chuba Hubbard over 950.5 rushing yards.
Could definitely see that happening, especially the way Canales has mentioned he wants it to be a physical, run-heavy offense.
Even if Rico Dowdle gets a couple, I'm not worried about him taking too much.
Rico Dowdle, I bet, will primarily be the passing back as well. So
that is the expectation.
Hopefully he won't take too many of the yards there. Again, I'm going to go with a pretty simple one. I'm just going with Panthers Week 1 money line at the Jaguars. Plus 130, so $10 returns $23. Wins $13, I suppose. It's not the most daunting matchup. Granted, early season results for the Panthers have not been superb the last couple of years, but this is when they turn it around.
I'll tell you right now, Week 1 is
it's a crapshoot.
100%. I always get caught up in it because let's pick winners because it's the first one and you're excited. You've been waiting all year for it. But are you in any survivor pools? The thing where you just got to pick one winner every week, and once you lose the team, you can't. Or once use the team,
I try to get in one or two of those every year.
My success rate, as long as I make it out of Week 1, is very good. I've won survivor leagues, but I'm astronomically eliminated in Week 1. It's embarrassing for somebody who is in sports for a living. But I think Week 1 is just a complete crapshoot, and then once you see teams, you can start predicting the obvious winners. So going money line Week 1 is bold. I'll go Umanmielen Hampton over 825.5 rushing yards. UNC running back last year. First round pick means volume. Najee Harris, we're still not sure if he is even going to play in the preseason at all or if he'll be ready for the regular season due to a fireworks incident. They signed Nyheim Hines, former NC State running back. Could be a little maybe Najee isn't coming back. But even if Najee is, 826 yards for Umanmielen Hampton. He's one of my highest ranked guys going into the draft, and then he was a first-round pick to a run-heavy offense.
Umanmielen Hampton's a freaking beast. I think he's going to thrive out there, especially with the way they run their offense.
So all I need is 826 yards. Doesn't he have to run for 1,000? Which I think he will. So
it could be pending that injury, but I would not be shocked again to see him splitting carries with Najee as well.
Anytime I'm betting on running backs, you have to build in the injury possibility. I think if he misses maybe up to 2 or 3 games, I still like this bet. So he can, sprain a thumb as long as the bye week is built in there somewhere, and we'll still be okay. Last one, what do you got?
Final pick. As I mentioned, a pretty notable theme here. But I'm going with a parlay here. I think when it comes to the NFC North, I don't think anybody is beating the Lions. And I also have faith in the Panthers to win the division. So why not pair them together in a little parlay to win their divisions, respectively? Lions and Panthers, plus 918. So $10 returns, was that 101.80?
What is it?
Or
plus,
111.80?
What was it?
It's plus 918.
All right.
Wins $91.80.
I assume much of that payout is coming from the Panthers.
Panthers I believe they're plus 340 to win the NFC South. The Lions are, I think it's still plus money. They're like plus 110.
Okay.
I'm surprised it's not shorter, to be honest. I understand the Vikings are good and the Packers are good, but I don't think either of them is remotely as good as the Lions.
We'll see. I don't hate that. Although, again,
injuries and stuff happen.
The Panthers have to back you up there.
Yeah, that's more so what it is. But I figured attach what I consider to be a fairly likely pick. It juices up the odds way more. So, of course, that's probably not very good gambling logic. That's why I've never been a winning sports bettor. But
no, in my experience, and I don't know if this is one of those deals where you just remember the beats way more than you you win, you're like, sweet, and then you immediately gamble all that money and you move on. And when you lose, you're like, how? In my experience, when I've done like a 2-leg parlay and one of them appears like free money and then the other is a super long shot, I feel like I've missed on the one that seems super easy way more. Like the long shot is hit and I'm like, I could have 6x'd my money simply by just picking that.
Just taking the Panthers bodes well for them.
But I threw in, the Chiefs to beat the Jags or something, and that one, the Jags won by 40. I completely missed. So it's so tempting when you're making the parlays, now that sports books are legal and sports gambling and sports apps are legal, to just right at the end when you're putting together a parlay, go like,
just throw in that -110 leg in there and double the odds.
And Josh Allen to run for 5 touchdowns. Why not? Of course he will. And then this will be the year he's like, no, I'm not a runner. My last one, speaking of, this one seems simple to me. This one seemed wildly like, I feel like I have to take advantage of this. Umanmielen, Panthers, over 4.5 receiving touchdowns. It was -110, although on other books I saw it as like -135 more likely. But $10 into 1909. Xavier Legette had 4 last year. Xavier Legette was banged up. He was hurt. He dropped a touchdown. The passing offense was horrendous at time. They were playing the quarterback do-si-do, you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. And Xavier Legette, with less than 500 receiving yards, had 4 receiving touchdowns. Umanmielen, better prospect, walking into a better offense, walking into a more stable situation. Taller, better red zone target, you would think. All he has to do is get 1 more touchdown. 4.5 seems astronomically low for Umanmielen. I didn't look for it, but I might try to find a market on him leading rookies in touchdowns. Because if they think 4.5 is kind of the number, I'm thinking he's going more than that. That's crazy. I didn't parlay any of mine as choices, but if you parlayed all 3, be plus 595.
I think that's more and maybe that's why I'm a bad better, but that's more like the fun to me with futures is kind of going for the longer shots just because
100%.
Since you're riding it out through the whole 17-week season or whatever sport it might be, you're riding it out the whole way. Like you just want to get more and more pumped. Like if you're just going for even money or I don't know how many people are betting
Are you calling me boring right
favorites? No, not at all.
It sounds like you're calling me boring.
Well, I mean, I had 2 about even money picks on mine as well, but part of the fun I think it is just it's getting closer, it might happen,
I often talk about gambling as fun coupons because I think that's a safe way to do it. Gamble responsibly, all those sort of things. But that way, what do you pay for a movie ticket now? Like $18, something crazy?
Unless you go on a Tuesday, I think it's less.
I was exaggerating, but who knows? Maybe it is that much.
If you
get popcorn and a drink, you're looking at a cool 50 spot.
$40-$50.
If you spend that money to make a game that much more exciting or make a season that much more exciting, it's no different than buying a movie ticket. So I think about it like that. So if we weren't competing, if Max and I weren't competing here, I'm just so competitive that overrides all of my entertainment possibilities. If I actually was just betting in my own personal life, I think I probably would take a few more longer shots or at least tease some of these numbers up, right? Chuba Hubbard over 950.5. Why not say 1,000? I genuinely think Umanmielen will catch 8+. If I could tease those numbers up, I think that becomes more exciting. Because I also think there's a world where Umanmielen has 5 touchdowns, by week 8, and then the rest of my season is just kind of waiting for that payout because a lot of times the season-long futures don't pay out until the season ends. As if he's going to have -3 touchdowns in week 17.
Or until sometimes you got to wait for the playoffs to be over.
So I would spice these up a little or parlay them all or something like that if I were just looking for entertainment coupons. All right, the way this works, we're going to get one of my favorite stories told here on air. Sean Glennon, as Max goes to make the call. Some of you know, Mike Glennon joins our show all the time, former NC State quarterback. He is my cousin, which means his brother, Sean Glennon, is also my cousin. And there was an ESPN article that's on ESPN right now. It's one of the featured NCAA football articles about alternate jerseys. and it ranks and gives us the best alternate jerseys in college football throughout history, right? And they bring up some of the classics, right? Remember when Maryland had like the Maryland flag, all the Oregon stuff, and they rank them all and they break them all down. And then right at the end, this wasn't even brought up to me, they bring up when Virginia Tech, quarterbacked by Sean Glennon, went to Georgia Tech. I believe it was either Halloween the night before, something like that. It was a Thursday night game. And their jerseys were stolen. 4 players for Virginia Tech out of the locker room, the jerseys were stolen. And Sean was one of them. So they played in Georgia Tech practice jerseys with Sharpie scribbled out like the Georgia Tech and their names written on the back. And it became a sight to behold. And anytime that story pops up, I realize I hadn't done it on this show yet. I've done it on every radio show I've hosted in my life. But I love the story. I think it's hilarious, and Sean Glennon tells it well. So we brought him up on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Sean, how's it going?
What's up, Tim? How you doing, man?
Doing great. I'm excited. This is like a ritual here, but the people haven't heard one of my favorite stories in sports, and an ESPN article brought it up today. So I thought I'd bring you on. I've given them the loose background on it being a Thursday night, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech game. 4 players' jerseys were stolen. You ended up playing the game in Georgia Tech practice jerseys, but that's about all I've given them. So Sean Glennon, former Virginia Tech quarterback, 2007 ACC championship game MVP. Can you take it from there? Like day of, how did it happen? What led to you wearing a Georgia Tech jersey in a game playing against Georgia Tech?
Oh, well, thanks for the intro. And yeah, I guess it's keeping me relevant. It's funny how as the years go by, I think a lot of the games and accomplishments start to wash away other than the diehard fans. But I still do get the occasional, like, are you the guy that wore the jersey thing? So it's funny how a quirky event like that has remained kind of a lore, as you alluded to. But yeah, I mean, essentially how it played out was as we were boarding the bus to get from the hotel to go over to the stadium, a few hours before game time, our director of football operations, John Boleyn, came up to me and asked me what I thought was an odd question at the time, asked me if my parents were going to be in attendance at the game. And I said, actually, no, they're back home. My brother has a high school football game tomorrow. They just couldn't make it because it was a Thursday night. And I said, why? He said, I was hoping you were going to say you're here because your mother always wears one of your white game jerseys. And that was true. I gave one of my game jerseys to my mom. She always wore the white one. She always wore that to the games. And obviously it unfolded well. Lester, our equipment manager, was prepping everything over at the stadium and just let us know that you and a few other players' jerseys were missing. And, I don't know if they do it now, or I don't know if times have changed, but it's not like we brought extras, right? We didn't bring backup jerseys. So we get over to the stadium. At this point, it's almost kind of funny. We're laughing about it. I wasn't alone. Cam Chancellor, Brandon Flowers, and Tyrod Taylor also had their jerseys missing. And, eventually it was like, well, what are we going to do? So we went out there first in just kind of our Under Armour, warm-ups and stuff. And then we came back to the library. Like, all right, what's going on? What are we going to wear? And they brought out those Russell Athletic Georgia Tech practice jerseys, far from like top of the line, high quality jerseys that we're used to wearing for game day. But again, we kind of embraced it. We had a lot of fun with it. We scribbled out the Russell and drew a Nike swoosh. We scribbled out yellow jackets on road Hokies. We wrote our names in our last names on the back of the jersey, and I get made fun of because I used like lowercase font for everything but the G. But yeah, like I said, it became kind of fun. We went out there. We had a really great first half. And oh, by the way, one part of the story I hadn't mentioned was that they were flying jerseys up. I guess one of the boosters or one of the big guys was able to fly his plane back to Blacksburg, pick up the jerseys, and they were en route. And by halftime they were there. And you'll notice, or anyone who goes back and watches the game will notice, that actually Brandon Flowers and Cam Chancellor had their jerseys back on for the second half. I was having a really good game. I had a few touchdowns in the first half. I think we were up like 21-3 and or 20-3, something like that. And so I said, I'm not going to take this off. I was superstitious. I asked Tyrod, and Tyrod was getting ready to change his. I was like, come on, man, I need at least one other guy to keep this on with me. So he agreed to keep in solidarity with a fellow quarterback. And so we went out there. I believe the final score was 27-3 or 30-3 something. We had a very good game, put a whooping on them, and I think the line that they used after the game was beat them in their own jerseys or something like that. So ended up being kind of a fun little pop culture thing, especially because it happened on Halloween. It's a story that gets brought up a lot, so I get to relive it a lot, which is a lot of fun.
Now we're talking with Sean Glennon, former Virginia Tech quarterback, 2007 ACC championship game MVP, and just heard one of the funnier uniform stories in college football history. By the way, he downplayed it a little bit. I'll give you I had a pretty good game. 22 of 32, 296 yards, a 40-yard and 71-yard touchdown pass to Justin Harper and Justin Morgan, and ran for a touchdown, 2-yard touchdown scamper in the 27-3 win on Thursday Night Football. Now, the football side is interesting, right? And I mean, quickly here, do you think it contributed to like the big game that you kind of were out of your own head or something like that because you're out there on Halloween almost wearing a costume?
I think that to a certain degree it loosened us up because, you're not like sitting in your locker having these like pregame mental pump you up type moments or going over the game plan because I'm being kind of pulled in a bunch of different directions about what the heck we're going to wear. So I think it's almost like when you show up to the golf course and you don't have any swing thoughts and you kind of go out and play and rip it. So there might have been something to it like that, but no, we all played well. As you mentioned, personally, I had a pretty good game. And that's why I didn't want to take it off. I kind of had I didn't want to jinx myself or something like that. Tim, I do have some breaking news in terms of I haven't shared it publicly. The jersey has found its way back. I think 17 years later. I actually am now in possession of the original stolen jersey.
The Virginia Tech jersey that went missing, not the Georgia Tech jersey that you drew on.
No, so I've actually had the Georgia Tech jersey. Just quick side note, it was hanging up in the little kind of like Hall of Fame or just, kind of the main concert area of the Virginia Tech football facility. And then I went back, it was there for a while, and I went back I don't know, it's probably 2012 or something like that. It was 5 or 6 years later. I guess it had outworn its welcome. It wasn't as cool anymore, and so they took it down. And so I went to the equipment manager. I was like, man, if you're not going to hang it up in there, I want it. And so they gave it to me. I have it framed. It's in my basement. A fun little,
so I knew that part of the story. I knew that part of the story, but you're saying the stolen jersey you've gotten back?
I have. So my last birthday, my father-in-law actually walked in the door, handed me a bag, and I opened up the bag, and the jersey was in it. I had no idea. Obviously, there's a story behind it. I'll give you the cliff notes. My father-in-law ended up coming into contact with someone who, once they connected the dots that I was his son-in-law, was like, you'll never believe this. And I apologize if I'm butchering the story, but I think this is right. My nephew, actually, many, many, many years ago, was a student at Georgia Tech and is one of the kids who stole. So there was an adjacent locker or weight room that connected to our away locker room, and apparently the door was open. Some kids, they thought it'd be a funny prank to steal the jerseys and wear them out that weekend, right? It was Halloween weekend. And so their funny thing is they'd show up to the parties wearing, these jerseys, which I'm sure at the moment or at that time was pretty cool. And they were the
would have been funnier if they won, but it is it's a funny move.
You're right.
If they would have won.
Yeah, probably not as when they got their butts kicked. But anyway, And my father-in-law was like, his name is Bill. He's like, no way. Your nephew is the one who did that. Does he still have the jersey? And he said, yeah, absolutely he does. And he said, well, I got to get this. I got to get it back to my son-in-law. And I think at first, yeah, I'm going to call you out, guy out there. You did steal my jersey. I can be a little mean. He tried to sell it to my father-in-law for like a few $100. And he was like, absolutely not. I'm not paying you for it. You stole it. So I think after some finagling and with the middleman and stuff like that, my father-in-law was able to get it back. So yes, not only am I in possession now of the Georgia Tech jersey with all the marker and little kids' handwriting on it, but we've got the original VT jersey back home as well.
That's hilarious, and to still have it, right? They didn't 10 years later go, you know what? This was funny in the time, but I don't need it. Like they were keeping it. Maybe they knew they were going to cross paths with you. Yeah,
it didn't end up in the Goodwill bag.
That's funny. By the way, I just brought up the stats. That nephew should probably say I'm sorry to some Georgia Tech players, because in that game, we mentioned your stats. You had a great game. Brandon Flowers also had his jersey stolen. He had an interception returned at 34 yards. Cam Chancellor also had an interception. He ran it back 23 yards. Tyrod didn't do as much, but obviously that's because you were in there balling. So Taylor Bennett of Georgia Tech, who threw 4 picks that day, that nephew deserves to give you an apology in addition to Sean for stealing the jersey. Sean, we appreciate you. I love hearing that story. I'll probably call on you again in a couple of years to tell it. But thank you for jumping on the show and passing it along.
Absolutely, Tim. Thanks for having me on.
Once again, that's Sean Glennon, former Virginia Tech quarterback and 2007 ACC championship game MVP. If you go check out the ESPN article on best alternate jerseys, the finale, the last one on that article is all about that story you just heard. And breaking news, he found the stolen jersey. The nephew of a friend ends up passing it back. I wonder if he had all 4. He's like, yeah, I'll give Sean his back, but I'm keeping Cam Chancellor's.
Well, I guess when they were going out for Halloween, they had to be a team, so everybody had to have a different one, So I doubt he has all
the 4, that's pretty targeted, right? It's I know those 4, right? Like they all were pretty good players at the time. So they were hunting for the right jerseys. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That again, Sean Glennon. When we come back, we'll hear from Rich Clark, College Football Playoff Executive Director, on how the CFP teams are picked. Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Are the Detroit Lions really as close as we think they are?
Yeah, I think the Detroit Lions are right there. And I believe in the culture that head coach Dan Campbell has built in the Motor City. Yeah, I think the Detroit Lions are going to be right there again, vying for NFC supremacy. And I think this is one of the best teams in all of football.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
When it comes to restoring cars, Diego's got skills. And with Total Wireless in his corner, the whole world sees them. With the dual camera system on his new iPhone 13, he can take amazing car photos and post them on the fly with super fast 5G, and even turn this hobby into a full-time gig. His claim to fame? Claiming iPhone 13 with 5G on us. Get iPhone 13 with 5G on us when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan. Total Wireless, in your corner. For limited time while supplies last. Valid in store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires port in and ID verification. Restrictions apply.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles.
Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone, available for a limited time. It's Bo time.
There's no time like Bo time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Welcome back into The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Joining us here at ACC Kickoff in Charlotte, Rich Clark, the CFP Executive Director. Rich, thank you very much for the time.
No, thanks, Tim. It's great to be here with you.
I want to know, is it like sitting in your situation, how does it feel to have every college football coach out there trying to throw out ideas of how you should situate what you're doing? Because everyone's getting asked about it, and it seems everybody has 12 is right, 16, 20, auto bids, like everybody has an opinion on what you're working on.
Yeah, it's not bad actually, because I would say there's a few ideas out there, right? And everyone has different ones, but they kind of fall within a span of 12 to 16 teams, and whether it's AQ or whether it's a straight seeding format. So it's good to hear people, and you always know when you get a lot of opinions that people care. So it's nice to be involved in an industry and a sport that people love and that they care about, and I don't mind at all. I love talking about it.
Who's the national champion is something that people here especially take exceptionally take a tremendous amount of importance in. So I guess, once you hear all the opinions, and trust me, I've said them on air and everybody else has, who are the people that actually have the influence? Like, who has the input on making those decisions on what it looks like as soon as next season? Yeah,
so ultimately the decision makers are the conference commissioners. We have 10 FBS conference commissioners plus the University of Notre Dame athletic director, and they will engage in discussions. They're very collaborative. They put it out on the table. They talk about the ideas. Me, the CFP staff, we provide them with as much information as they may need, with the pros and the cons of all the different alternatives. And then they have the discussions, they talk about it, and then in the end they got to make a decision. So they're a collegial group, I'll admit, but they don't always agree. And so they have to talk it out. And honestly, they are the decision makers, especially the A4 conference commissioners. They're the ones that really carry the water with where we're going to go on this. But in the end, if they agree to disagree, then we stay with the current format. And I like to remind people of that. We have a great format. And in fact, I really like the format that we had last year. And we tweaked it a little bit to where rather than the top 4 conference champions get a bye, now it'll be the top 4 ranked teams will get a bye. And then we'll have 12 teams with a straight seed, and it'll be a great playoff.
I imagine, and we're talking with Rich Clark, CFP Executive Director, I imagine a lot of that disagreement comes with the automatic qualifiers, the auto bids. How many does each conference get? How contentious maybe could that conversation be? Because, of those 4 conferences, no one wants to be seen as a second tier. You get more than us, right? I imagine that's where the disagreement would live.
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, part of the disagreement is should we have automatic qualifiers, period? And then if we do, what numbers should be allocated to each conference? So I think the biggest question really is is automatic qualifiers the way to go and the way to build a format? And there's definitely advantages to that. It provides some certainty in the season. Conferences know how many teams are going to get, and it doesn't have as much impact on their scheduling maybe as not knowing that. But, there's also the uncertainty is also kind of cool too, right? People like that, and they like to see things decided on the field rather than being predetermined. So, there's pros and cons both ways, but when it comes down to it, the commissioners have to decide, and what's really important is that they represent their conferences. Commissioner Phillips here at the ACC, he has to represent the ACC. That's his job, and that's what he gets paid to do. But he also has to keep in mind what's good for all of college football, and that's important for all the commissioners to consider.
Once you get past that, right, because there's always another question. The next question is, what is the criteria, right? If 5 and 11 is a very popular the 5 conference champions and 11 at large, however you want to describe them, is a very popular idea. How do you decide the 11? Like, what are the criteria that the committee is weighing when choosing the teams that are those chosen teams, if you're looking at the ranked teams rather than the conference champions if they get auto bids?
Yeah, so the committee will look at a few different things. First, they get a lot of data, strength of schedule, relative offense, relative defense, some special team stats. They look at all of the data, and to include the team's record, obviously, and make judgments based on very objective data that they receive. They also watch the games. I mean, they watch probably, I would say, between 15 and 25 games in a weekend. And they have an iPad with a condensed version of the game. They can watch a game in 45 minutes, but they spend a lot of time just watching games. And then they talk to the conferences. They get input from the conference about the teams that they have and how they see those teams racking and stacking in the playoff bid. So there's a lot of information that they go through, but these are some real great professionals with a lot of integrity. They're former coaches, former players, some journalists, and then 5 sitting athletic directors as well. So you get a lot of really good perspective from different perspectives, and then they come to the decisions and they vote, and they come up with a good ranking.
We're talking with Rich Clark, CFP Executive Director. So if at least part of it comes down to the eye test, right, watching games and deciding which one you think looks better, are you ever going to make like everybody happy, or you just go in with the agreement that, hey, when we walk out of this room, there's going to be 5 or 6 fan bases that absolutely hate the decision we just made?
Yeah, they absolutely know that.
Yeah.
And that's part of their creed. We're going to do the right thing. We are not trying to please anybody because we know we can't please everybody. So we're just going to do the right thing based on our perspective and how we vote. And when we walk out of the room, we all agree. This is the top 25, and this was our decision as a whole. So they're a great group of people. I love working with them.
In those rooms, is there a structure to it? Does somebody have gavel? Does somebody say, do you have what's like a summer camp, like the talking stick? You can only talk when you're holding the stick.
Yeah.
Like, what is the structure of those debates?
So there's a chairman. Mm-hmm. This year it's Mac Rhodes. He's the athletic director at Baylor. He's the chairman of the whole committee. I am, as the executive director, I'm sort of the sergeant at arms. I make sure that we follow the protocol, that the discussions are within the bounds of what the discussions can be, and that we make good time and get to a decision in the timeline that we're supposed to get to a decision on. But there's a voting structure, sort of how we make our votes, because we don't just vote for them all at once. We vote for them in small groups of teams at a time. And then we end up going through several iterations of it. We'll have a 1 to 25, and then we'll scrub it and re-vote. And we just go through all these iterations of voting to make sure that we get it. And we don't stop until everybody goes, all right, I'm satisfied. I'm comfortable with this. And then we walk out of the room with it. And there's some intense conversations in there because coaches look at it differently than former players, look at it differently than journalists, and everyone has their own perspective on what a great football team should look like. Like, for example, we have Randall McDaniel on the committee, all Hall of Fame college player, Hall of Fame pro, and when he looks at a team, you can imagine he's an offensive lineman.
He's looking at the trenches.
He's like, this is the heart of a great team. So that's really important to him. Not that he ignores everything else, but that's really important to him. And he will point out things about the offensive line that nobody else sees, and they go, didn't catch that. But he sees that. Every time he watches, he's keying there as he looks at the whole rest of the game and what those teams are putting on the field. So really good, interesting.
Is there an ideal type of non-conference schedule? Because coaches are like, that's something that impacts their resume, is who are you playing outside of the games that you don't get to choose? Is it, say, better to go undefeated, but you maybe don't have those big trophy wins? Or, if you maybe play some bigger teams, but you lose those games? Like, I don't know. If there was a consulting firm for non-conference schedules,
Right.
what would they be advising you do?
Well, that's hard to say. I'll say this. The committee looks at games, every game, whether it's conference or non-conference, as a quality of wins and quality of losses. So if you're playing a really big team, a really great team with a high strength of schedule, and you beat them, you're getting huge amounts of credit. If you lose to them, though, you're not going to lose that much because you put it out there and you went and you fought a really great team, and you came out on the losing end, but you fought them well. So that's a game that even though you lost, you're not going to take a big hit for that. Whereas if you play a weaker team or they have a lesser strength of schedule and you beat that team, you're going to gain something, but your gain is not going to be as much. But if you lose to that team, you stand the risk of losing a lot. So you have to kind of weigh it, and coaches do this anyway, right? Mm-hmm. They look at who they're playing, what are their odds of winning, and the payoff is high if you beat a great team, but it's the loss is really high if you lose to a team that's maybe not as strong as you are. So it's hard to say that, but the committee looks at quality of wins, quality of losses, and all relative to strength of schedule and how strong those teams that they're playing are.
Last question for Rich Clark, CFP Executive Director. This one a little bit off the beaten path, but it's something that's happening in our neck of the woods. A lawsuit from a UNC tennis player, a women's tennis player, it's centering around prize money and outside events. She played in the U.S. Open and wanted to keep that prize money, but it couldn't because it would have made her ineligible, which is its own beast. But one of the kind of like, if you open this can of worms questions is, if they're allowed to do that, what's stopping bowl games or playoffs or in-season tournaments from giving prize money? If it becomes legal, if she wins and this opens up that new form of payment, would the CFP be open to like kind of the NFL where it's like, playoff prize pools for playoff wins for the teams that win?
Oh, boy. Well, I'll say this. That is a little bit outside my realm of responsibility. But, again, I go back to the conference commissioners. That's a discussion, and that's actually out of the CFP discussion, but those are the kinds of things that they talk about. And I'll say two things about it. First, student well-being, student-athlete well-being, their health, all of the other rules and things that impact them are always forefront in their mind. So this is definitely something that they're going to have to consider and that they're going to come up with on an answer. The other thing that I'll say is some people go, you know what, they haven't decided on this format. I don't understand why they can't just make this decision. What people also don't understand is these conference commissioners, their jobs are so hard. This is one of hundreds of decisions that they have to make for college sports. And it's not just football. It's every sport, every athlete, men, women, across the board. So this is one decision that they're still working on, that they're going to be very deliberate on our format. But then there's hundreds of others that they actually make every week, every month, and they're really working hard on it. But it's issues like this that are really important to them. So I will say, in the end, this will be a discussion point. I mean, you're bringing up a great point, and the landscape of college athletics is ever changing. But these are the folks that are right in the middle of it, and they're the ones that really are wrestling with some very tough issues. But we're going to get there. We're in an inflection point in college athletics, and I hope that people don't lose confidence or faith in it. Change is always hard, and we're just going through it right now. But in the end, we're going to come out on the better side of this. So I just hope that our fans can stick with us and just keep enjoying the amazing games of what our student athletes are doing on the field and the court and the swimming pool, wherever they are, because it's really spectacular what they're able to accomplish.
Rich, we appreciate your time, and
thank you.
Enjoy the season, right? It's football season, finally.
Thank you. I am so excited. That first kickoff is coming, so thanks for having me.
Once again, that is the College Football Playoff Executive Director, Rich Clark. Thank you to him for jumping on with us at ACC Kickoff last week. Banked that one to play this week, and I will play it again and think about it again when the ACC is getting messed over in the CFP rankings at the end of the year at least I'll know what's happening behind those closed doors on their way to messing it over. I'm kidding. But thank you to Rich, for real. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, has the starting five coming up next. There's football, there's contract talk, and one of the most anticipated movies in decades. Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
I keep getting the same question about, is Carolina done? I think Carolina is done for now. Too many teams in the NHL, 31 out of 32, actually think they're going to make the playoffs. So those teams are not giving away or selling off their best players. So Carolina will play the waiting game, and 2 months into the season, 3 months into the season, a lot of those teams aren't going to be in the playoff hunt. That's when Carolina strikes.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Why world-class? Because it has a crisp and superior taste. That's world-class. It has only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. That's very world-class. So, if I'm seen drinking it, by association, am I world-class? Oh yeah, Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This just in. Hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches. And our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Offer ends July 31st.
See Home Club for details.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it.
That one back, that one going, gone!
Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRL meteorologist Mike Mays. We have 3 more big heat days to go before it breaks. We're back in the 80s by Friday. A chance for storms this evening, 77 the low, 96 for your Tuesday, with a 30% chance for storm, 95 Wednesday.
Weather update brought to you by Umanmielen Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit umanmielencompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money at the closing bell. Dow Jones down 64 points to 44,837.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the first starting 5 of the week on this Monday. So let's go ahead and start with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's game week, everybody. Is it Carolina Panthers game week? No. Is it one of the college football teams in the Triangle game week? Also no. But it is football game week. The Hall of Fame game, which is the first preseason game in the NFL, is this Thursday between the Lions and the Chargers. Does it matter? No. But it seems like it does. It seems like it does, which is enough for me. It's good. It's like the rehearsal for us as fans. Right? Sit down, make sure you have the stamina, make sure you have the rhythm of it right. You're timing everything up, make sure the food is ready right at halftime. Make sure that the dog isn't expecting to be let out in the middle of a long 12-play drive, right? It's a rehearsal. You get to watch the most boring plays ever because no coordinator wants to show any of their actual playbook, so you're just going to see dives and powers and hitches and everything else that comes with being a really boring game. But it builds into my theory of why the NFL is king, why it is so darn popular. And it's actually something the NFL has to be worried about as they continue to expand. It is just so perfect for our attention span. Like the moment we feel like we've been in a desert 40 days and 40 nights without football, they don't give us a gallon of water. They give us a drop. They keep us thirsty. They keep us on the hook. Then they splash some preseason at us. They work us into a fever. And then the regular season hits. And what do? They go Thursday. They go Friday. They bang, 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 bang. Monday night football. Then a week off. Right? Then you're chilling again. I mean, it truly is. Like, I think it's perfect, right? If you have a favorite, like if you are a Panther fan rather than a fan of like just the NFL in general, it's perfect. Once a week, you get one game. It's not like baseball or hockey or basketball where they just keep throwing games at you and you feel like you can miss one without really missing the gist. You need to be there. That's why the NFL is so darn popular. Hall of Fame game on Thursday. Do you know how I know it's I'm going to pretend like this is a bigger deal than it is? Because I'll probably I'll throw a couple bets on there. Is that the healthiest way to live? No. But does it make me want to watch a little bit more? Yeah. Yeah, it does.
It's a tough when you're betting and maybe one of the only players you know is playing. I mean, Omar and Hampton might be out there, so
I'd be very surprised with Najee.
See, even if he's not out there, then
I think you're going to get Kamani Vidal as the first back in there for the Chargers, and he probably won't even play till half.
Nothing like risking some hard-earned USD on him.
But then it's going to make Thursday exciting, which otherwise it's not. It means nothing. That's number 5. Let's hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
I said this earlier today. It is the second induction into that's a really confusing part of a contract, Hall of Fame for the UNC Tar Heels this year. Jim Tanner, UNC men's basketball GM. This all reporting done by Brian Murphy, WRAL. Check it out, WRAL.com, WRALSportsFan.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Murph's Turf. Does a great job. Jim Tanner, UNC men's basketball general manager, signed a 5-year deal that'll connect him to the school through June 30th of 2030. That pays him $850,000 annually. But there's a clause in that contract. A little incentive. If you do this, you could get yourself a little extra scratch, which he's already hit for this year. And he actually signed the offer on Wednesday. UNC is big on this for some reason. They agree to contracts and then they sign them months later after I guess there's a few more details to iron out. But he signed it on Wednesday, and it says he is due a $100,000 raise because he already reached a incentive. The incentive is if UNC, the Tar Heels, one of the most storied programs in men's basketball history, Michael Jordan, Phil Ford, Vince Carter, Rasheed Wallace, as recently as Armando Bacot and RJ Davis. If they either make the men's basketball tournament or sign at least one 4-star or better recruit, 4 or 5-star recruit, he gets an extra $100,000.
What?
Now, listen. If you think there is a snowball, it's one of my favorite phrases, a snowball's chance in the hot place. If you think there is any chance in heck that UNC, under the leadership of Jim Tanner as GM, will in the same year not make the NCAA tournament and not recruit at least one 4-star player, if you think both of those things can be true in the same year, do not hire Jim Tanner. And since you did hire him, I assume you think he will make sure that both of those things happen every year. And if you think both of those things will happen every year, why not just make his salary $950,000?
It's kind of hard. I've been trying to research like when the last time they didn't have a 4-star recruit was. It's kind of hard to find a comprehensive history. As far as I can tell, I do not know when the last time they didn't have at least a 4-star recruit was in basketball.
This year alone, they added 6 transfers and 3 freshmen. 5 of them were 4 or 5-star recruits out of high school, and I assume the transfers would be better ranked transfer recruits. I just don't get why it's there. I'm not even criticizing it, right? Because who cares? If you have $950,000 to pay your GM, pay your GM $950,000. I don't care. It's not my money. But I just don't get why you would put that in there. It's almost as if you are, announcing to everyone, I'm concerned that he won't do this. It's a weird confidence kind of jab towards your own guy. And then, it joins in that's a weird clause, Contract Hall of Fame. The buyout for Bill Belichick going from $10 million, meaning if Belichick wanted to leave North Carolina, he would have had to pay $10 million as a buyout. Belichick would have to pay it. And that dropped to $1 million before he ever coached a game. Why would you drop it before he ever coaches a game? If not, why? And more importantly, why was anyone asking for it to drop before he ever coached a game? Why was it not just a $10 million buyout? That'll go till the end of year 1. Then it can drop to $1 million. Why was anyone actually, can we push that up to before he coaches ever? Who's asking for these clauses? Who on UNC was well, we can afford to pay him $950,000, but we need to protect ourselves in case it is one of the worst on-court seasons in the history of UNC and also one of the worst recruiting seasons in the history of UNC simultaneously. Nobody looked around and went, are you that concerned that might happen? Because if you're concerned about that, we need to get together and decide if this is the dude again.
It's not even it's not like an Eric Tulsky cap. There's no salary cap on college GMs. You don't have to defer $100,000 of the money just for a quote unquote incentive that he's definitely going to hit. You can just pay him.
I can't emphasize enough how much a single 4-star recruit is a gimme for UNC. Just one 4-star recruit in a recruiting class. It would be as if you're looking at Lamar Jackson and saying, well, we're going to build in some incentives into this contract. The first incentive will be if you complete 10 passes this year. 10? 10 passes. Yeah, if you complete 10 passes, you get an extra, that's almost, what is that, 10% roughly of your contract tacked on if Derrick Henry rushes for 5 yards this season. It's ridiculous. I don't get it. I just don't understand. What number was that? I'm all over the place on my notes. Let's get to the next one.
Just tap it in. Just tap it in. Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, tap-a-roo.
I will do my best to no spoiler this one. But I did watch Happy Gilmore 2 over the weekend. I thought it was okay.
I think that's fair.
I thought it was okay. And I everyone online either loves it or hates it. I think it was okay.
No one has a middle opinion. Everyone's just this is the worst movie ever or it's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I do think Happy Gilmore, the original, is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. That I am 100% on. And I appreciate, although I don't, I think I was hoping they went for it. I appreciate that they didn't try to mimic the original. They went different, which is what a lot of, I think, sequels do wrong. If you look at the Anchormans or the Zoolanders or whatever, it seems like they're trying to recapture that magic, and it's tough. So they went different. I thought the first half of the movie was doing a really good job. Second half of the movie got a little off the rails.
That's where I kind of disagree. I actually really enjoyed the second half of the movie, and just I guess I won't spoil it, but the parallels to some real life events. Granted,
that was there in the beginning of the movie too.
True, but granted, a little bit more ridiculous in nature with it being a comedy movie. I thought it was funny. Granted, I also am just such a huge golf fan. Just like seeing all the golfer cameos, like it had me absolutely dying.
Here's the one, and I think it's pretty spoiler free. Although, if you're this far into the conversation, you're not worried about spoilers because you would have gone la 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 la. The one thing I will say is, the original Happy Gilmore, there was only one like non-lifelike thing we had to agree to accept, and that's that this crazy hockey guy could hit the ball 430 yards. That was the only thing that. Everything else were like ridiculous characters, ridiculous funny people, but the world was like possible.
It was somewhat grounded.
It was possible. Wildly unlikely, but it was possible. Shooter McGavin was ridiculous, but there's nothing that said like, he had to defy the laws of physics. Mr. Larson was hilariously large, but he wasn't like, it was possible. The second half of Happy Gilmore, a lot of it was basically like a sci-fi movie, which I didn't care for. That being said, Scotty Scheffler, very funny. Some of the callbacks previously, very funny. Some of the references to the characters from the original, very funny. And I think, I don't like, Adam Sandler used to hit, like, he used to be like a 5-tool player in baseball. Like, he could do it all. Now he's a veteran, right? He's not hitting 370 anymore, but he'll still give you a 4 for 4. Like, there were stretches in that where I'm like, oh, he's back. There were stretches where I was like, ooh, whiff. But there were stretches where he had the glint in his eye.
I think it's definitely worth a watch.
If you are either an Adam Sandler fan or any of these things, an Adam Sandler fan, just a Happy Gilmore fan from the original, a golf fan, or I would say, like, if you have a 13-year-old at home. Like, and you want to watch a movie that you can at least appreciate some, and the 13-year-old think is hilarious. All of those situations, it's like a must-watch. For everyone else, get there when you can.
Yeah. Also, like, if you're expecting the best movie in the world, or you're just like miserable and wanting to hate on something, like just don't even watch it. Just don't watch it.
I will say I was a little upset. Rotten Tomatoes had a higher score for the second one than the first one.
I mean, it just came out. I'm sure there's going to be some more aggregation that has to go on there. But also, I wanted to say, John Daly, it was just definitely like, maybe they didn't even give him a script. It's almost like he was playing himself.
John Daly was very funny.
He was, but
I thought Rory had a few moments.
Xander and Ricky Fowler. We actually have a
Colin Morikawa had a couple.
I've told you this before. In our house, we actually have a Ricky Fowler cutout in our basement. So when he came on and he gave his line, we all went crazy. We started picking up the high five and the cardboard cutout and stuff. Was holding out like the TP5 golf balls. It was a good time. It's a good watch.
All right, there you go. That's our movie review here. We don't do that often, but it's Happy Gilmore. That's number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us. And it's Stankoven. He scores! A power play goal for Logan Stankoven. His second of the period puts the Canes up 3-0.
So the Carolina Hurricanes randomly dropped a new logo on us? It just kind of popped up on the Pro Shop? Is that how it happened for everybody? Is that how everybody else experienced this? I thought it was like a joke. People on Twitter just started saying, like, what do you think about the new logo? And I was like, that's weird. Why would they add... Like, it's not a... The Canes have a new logo. It's on their official Pro Shop. You can go buy a hat. You can go buy some gear with the logo. It is... Actually, let me start here. Max, I know you're big. You have the a Canes hat on right now with a more traditional Canes logo.
Yep.
Do you like the new logo?
I'm not the biggest fan, but to me, look, and Doug Worf had tweeted about this as well.
Okay.
I don't think this is like the future logo. I don't think it's gonna be an alternate jersey or anything. Doug Worf tweeted out. He said, this hat was designed by Zephyr as a part of the X-Line collection that they're doing with almost all NHL teams. He said 2 of his 3 favorite Canes hats are Zephyr. The rest of it is just talking about the sale that you can buy it on the store. But I think it's just a fun little thing. It's not my favorite logo.
Here's again, because I overthink everything. I'll dive in on this hat logo. It's not crazy enough. If you're gonna go different, like it looks like it's trying to fulfill the same purpose as a lot of the Canes logos we already have. The one on your hat. The more traditional flags, like there's, or just the Canes kind of in block lettering. Like If you're going to go different, right? Do something that enters its own lane. That one, to me, it's just like it's in the same lane as so many of the other logos we have, so it feels kind of like an unnecessary addition. However, we all know that a lot of people like the Whalers logos, or a lot of people like when Stormy gets involved with the pig face. Like there's other logos that to me fulfill kind of different ideas, maybe funny, maybe retro, maybe whatever. This just seems like I don't know where that logo works, that the logo on your hat, just the more circular logo, doesn't already work pretty well.
And it's weird. I see more. It's like more like out of market or national people that are not the biggest fans of the original kind of logo here, which
which is just the spiral.
Yeah, it's classic. Yeah. It's just the classic like Eye of the Hurricane. I like it, and some people have opinions about the alternate logo. I guess I don't know if it's alternate or primary because they wear it as the black is the home jersey, but the one that's on the graphic behind you now that we have as the default logo.
Hockey stick with the Hurricane flag.
And people have their opinions on that one, but you can't deny like it calls back to the roots of the franchise. It also brings in the local flair with the negative space outline of the state of North Carolina in between it. The new one, it's just, it's a new take. It's a little different. It's a little out there. I want to ease the concerns of people out there who are worried, like, this is the logo rebrand and this is going to be the new Canes logo. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just a merch line thing.
Which I think if they would have went, like, more wild, then everybody would be like, oh, that's... Like, it happens in Major League Baseball all the time, where you look at somebody in, like, a fitted hat, and the logo is, like, 3/4 the size of the hat, and it's a different color, and it's something crazy. And no one's going like, oh, they're going to wear that on the field. It's like, oh, that's a fashion statement. If this is a fashion hat, make it something a little bit more ridiculous.
I like that they're mixing up, though. The team has only had so many, like, logos and word marks and stuff throughout history.
That's good.
Sometimes you want a fresh look, though, and I can't hate on it. What they really need to prioritize is making the 25th anniversary home jersey just the regular home jersey with the silver. Just go back to it. Everybody loves that jersey. Everybody loves that font.
Yeah, I think retro nights and retro jerseys and previous jerseys are pretty close to 100% approval as you can get. Just a lot of people get really excited for that. That is number 2. Let's hit number 1.
Go one! Move more naturally.
Meanwhile, Falcons have a chance for more points before the half. Ritter, he cannot escape. Brought down at the 25 by Derrick Brown.
Today was a big day for the Carolina Panthers. Big day for the Carolina Panthers. Not only was Derrick Brown back and easing his way back in from an injury that led to surgery, but Bobby Brown was back. And it was the first day in pads. I'm not saying they were participating in all the hitting, but first day in pads is always a big deal. Trevin Wallace, who is expected to have a bigger role as an off-ball linebacker due to the abrupt release due to the concussion history of Josie Jewell. Trevin Wallace apparently lit up Chuba Hubbard a bit during practice. Now that everybody's wearing pads, he said, I love me some contact. And then Chuba Hubbard got up, didn't enjoy that very much, and now we have the little squabble going, offense, defense, intensity rises. It's the good stuff. If anyone watched the Charlotte Observer documentary, they put out like an hour-long YouTube doc on the 2015 Panthers, the team that made it to the Super Bowl. They thought one of the turning moments, the players thought one of the turning moments for the team was when Cam Newton and Josh Norman got into it early in the season during the practice. So maybe Trevin Wallace and Chuba Hubbard could be a much less star-studded version of that. But pads are on. That's real football. That's really exciting. And Derrick Brown is back. You could argue he's their best player on either side of the ball. That's real talent. That's really exciting. Dave Canales, the head coach, was asked about the plan for Derrick Brown as he recovers from surgery. Here's what Canales had to say.
I feel like it. Give me a few weeks.
That was Derrick Brown asked if he was 100%. Max, do we want to start with Derrick Brown? Is that what you're telling me?
Yep.
All right.
No, well, it was a misclick, but if you want to go that way, we can go that way.
We'll start with Derrick Brown.
I feel like it. Give me a few weeks. I feel like it. But right now, I mean, they got a great plan in place, just getting back in shape and being able to just transition back into being able to, play the plays I played before and, be there for the team. I expressed my opinion to them and, they've been nothing but, compliant when it came to that. So, I mean, they had from the time I had surgery in September to coming around now, shout out to the training staff, especially Karen. We've been together every day since. And, it's been one of those things where, it's hard for me because I want to come out here, go all the whole practice, but, being able, my coach, the organization, and the training room have my best interests at heart. So.
There's Derrick Brown. Now, as promised, we have Dave Canales on Derrick Brown returning from surgery.
We're going to just kind of ramp him up each day and just kind of give him a little bit more, dose him a little bit higher. He's got to be ready to play week 1, so we'll continue to grow the capacity in practices as we go. But right off the bat, he comes back in. He's a leader, He has high expectations, particularly for the defense, and challenging the guys to play together. A style of football that I really just hope comes alive with him at the front, just leading the effort. He's a great effort player, chase player from inside the trenches. We call him stack monsters, and he really exemplifies the spirit of what we want this defense to look like. So to have him back out there was unbelievable today.
So here's why they are so important. Derrick Brown getting back, getting healthy, playing week 1. I don't think he necessarily needs a ton of reps in the preseason practice or otherwise, but if it's possible, sure, you'd like to have it happen. Their linebackers are going to be in a different place than we thought they were going to be just a couple weeks ago. Josie Jewell, as I mentioned, he's not walking through that door. The way you make linebackers' jobs easier, Trevin Wallace, second year player was a 3rd-round pick. Maybe a rookie that could get involved. Make their job easier by having your guys up front take on more blockers. If guards and centers can't get to the second level to get their hands on linebackers, it makes their job easier. The way to do that is to have your interior linemen eat up double teams, fight through, require double teams. So Derrick Brown needs to be that. If the opposing team isn't assigning 2 players to Derrick Brown every play, everybody else's job gets more difficult. So get him back, get him healthy, and get him demanding of double teams, and the defense will be better for it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Miller Lending is the home of the no-cost loan. No-cost loan. Sometimes I do think I have to slow it down because you're trained. When I get my mortgage, when I lock in my mortgage, when I get to the closing, I better bring a fat check for closing costs and fees and third-party fees and hidden surcharges and all these costs that I didn't know about. Well, guess what? Not at Miller Lending. No cost loan. No third-party fees. No closing costs. No hidden surcharges. 0 means 0 at Miller Lending. Sounds pretty good, even when I say it's slow, right? In the end, you don't want to pay any more than you have to. And you might have to lock in a higher rate because you couldn't choose your timing and, right, you needed a mortgage, you need a house. So if your monthly payment's a little higher than you wanted to, why pay costs and fees right before you have to start saving for those monthly payments? So instead, lock in the rate, no cost, no fees. Be prepared to refinance if rates drop. Again, no cost out of your pocket, no cost, no fees. And use those savings to help eat into the little bit more you have to pay because rates are high. It's that simple. Give them a call, 919-447-3377. They can explain more. Locally owned, by the way. You'll be calling someone right here in Cary. 919-447-3377 or visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. Right now, we need some numbers game contestants, don't we, Max? Today's prize, a $25 Auto Bell gift card. Get your car looking right. But you got to win it. You got to earn it. So if you want to play the numbers game, we need 2 contestants right now. Call in 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete in the numbers game and potentially win a $25 Auto Bell gift card. That's Auto Bell Car Wash gift card. 919-860-5326. Numbers game next.
Move your sports day forward.
I've got a nickname for the Carolina Panthers defense this preseason, the Donut D. A big hole in the middle now that linebacker Josie Jewell got his release and Shaq Thompson was cut months ago. If Ejiro Evero gets this D shaped up in time for the regular season and finds a way to stop second-level runs, he gets a medal and a contract extension.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
New to the area? Let me be the first to welcome you. I'm Marcy Bailey of Bailey's Fine Jewelry. We've been family-owned and part of North Carolina since 1948. We have a tradition of being voted the best jewelry store with an unparalleled selection of designer jewelry, fine diamonds, engagement rings, watches, and gifts to commemorate all your special occasions. We look forward to sharing our award-winning service and stunning jewels with you. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com to see why every woman wants a Bailey box.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We saw you on the line, but something happened. We couldn't actually get you on the show. We have a line open, is what we're saying, and this doesn't happen often. So if you want to play the numbers game and potentially win a $25 Auto Bell Car Wash gift card and the glory that comes with winning the numbers game, call in quickly right now. 919-860-5326. If you were just on the line and you were waiting and we didn't get a chance to pick you up, you had to wait like 20 more seconds. And you were blocking the line from other. Call in right now. Anybody out there? 919-860-5326.
You say it rarely happens, but I feel like it's maybe 50% anytime I'm producing the show.
Well, Max, maybe you need to look inward.
I'm a bad luck charm.
Maybe you need to look inward. Again, the number is 919-860-5326. We have Lucius in Fuquay Arena getting ready to play. If you want to go up against Lucius, you got to call in now. It looks like he has his ear to the phone, to the receiver. So we'll go ahead and wait just a minute here. And it appears as if we have Ben in Durham. So we have Lucius in Fuquay Arena and Ben in Durham, and they will be battling it out in the numbers game. As always, I will ask the same question to both contestants. Max, our producer for today, will be the judge. He'll pick which answer is his favorite, and that person will get to go first. Lucius, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. The question for today is, what was the highlight of your weekend, right? It's Monday, so looking back at the weekend, what was your highlight? But because we are a sports show, make sure it's related to sports in some way.
I'm going to give a good shout-out to the Bandits that was formerly the Phenoms from Fuquay softball. They had a couple of senior girls from travel ball, and I love to, use this platform to let people know about the girls. All of my daughters, they play sports. Alyssa Sturdivant, Alea Sturdivant, Keller Sturdivant, they play softball, Fuquay Arena. But these girls play travel ball, and that's a big deal around here. So that was my highlight of my career, just watching one of my coaches turn his travel ball team over to another coach, Coach Scott Martin. He pitched to NC State. I'm just giving them a shout. That's all.
All right, Lucius, your answer is locked in. We got a little senior softball action, the Bandits. We'll go to Ben in Durham next. Ben, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, same question to you. What was the highlight of your weekend? But because we are a sports show, keep it somehow related to sports.
Yeah, so Friday evening when I got home from work, my kiddo, my 8-year-old who finished basketball camp, let me know that she was named Camper of the Week. So I was real proud of her, and she had a blast at camp, so it was just great news.
All right. Max, this is going to be a really tough one for you because they're similar and they're wholesome and they're family-oriented. And which answer is the one you're going with?
Both proud parents and everything. I'll go with Lucius Jones. He had the numerical advantage. I believe he mentioned 3 girls instead of just the the
All right,
the
fair.
one kid for Ben. So just 3-1. Sorry, Ben, but you'll have your chance.
It was a volume play. Ben, you will have your chance, so just stay on the hold. You'll go second. Lucius and Fuquay Varina, are you there and ready to pick a category?
Yes, I am.
All right, the categories are NFL players whose name starts with Ed. So the first two letters in their first name are ED. NFL players named TikTok's hottest players, not named Jimmy Garoppolo. NBA Purdue's finest, all players that played college basketball at Purdue, or NHL Hurricanes only.
I'm not going to cheat like everybody does and do the Carolina Hurricanes. So give me the first category, the ED.
All right. It's completely fair. I mean, I appreciate you going somewhere else, but I'm
a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, so I love the Hurricanes. Don't get me twisted. I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, so y'all know I call y'all all the time. I'm just being biased.
Sounds good. We'll jump into the NFL category then. These are all players whose first name begins with Ed, E-D. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, I don't.
All right, perfect. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Eddie George, Tennessee Titans.
27.
Correct. Edgerrin James, Indianapolis Colts.
Skip, pass.
Ed Reed, Baltimore Ravens.
31.
Incorrect. Ed McCaffrey, Denver Broncos.
84.
Incorrect. Edgerrin James, Indianapolis Colts.
34.
Incorrect. Ed Reed, Baltimore Ravens.
88.
You got Eddie George, 27.
Man,
you got Eddie George, so I was kind of got it smooth
Man,
too.
I know all of these. I know all of them.
Edgerrin
You
James,
got me on this.
Hall of Famer, number 32 we were looking for. Ed Reed,
Right.
Hall of Famer, number 20 we were looking for. Ed McCaffrey, not a Hall of Famer, but may have fathered one in Christian McCaffrey if he keeps going the way he's going. 87, the number we were looking for. But you did get one. You avoided the shutout. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up.
All right.
That means Ben in Durham. Ben, are you ready to roll?
Yes.
All right, the categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players named TikTok's hottest players, not named Jimmy Garoppolo, NBA players that all played college basketball at Purdue, or NHL Hurricanes only.
I'll take the NFL players from TikTok.
All right, TikTok's hottest players, not named Jimmy Garoppolo. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You need at least two for the win. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals.
9.
Correct. Jaden Daniels, Washington Commanders.
5.
Correct. Roma Dunze, Chicago Bears.
24.
Incorrect. Isaiah Pacheco, Kansas City Chiefs.
Half.
Ricky Pearsall, San Francisco 49ers.
87.
Incorrect. Roma Dunze, Chicago Bears.
88.
Incorrect. You got some real modern numbers down at the end. You got Burrow, you got Jaden Daniels, so that's enough for the win. For Dunze, we were looking for 15. For Pacheco, we were looking for 10. And for Pearsall, we were looking for 14. And I've said this before, but it does seem like fans, when they get or listeners, callers, when they get under the wire, they go back to like the traditional numbers. They want to throw 80s for receivers and 30s for running backs. But these were all, 10s and teens and all that kind of stuff. But either way, congratulations. You made it.
Great. Thanks a lot.
You won yourself a $25 or $20? $25 Auto Bell Car Wash gift card. So stay on the line and Max will make sure you get your prize.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. It is funny. I think if you get like a running back that wears 10 as the first name, you're way more likely to get it than if it's like the fourth name, because right, the ticking clock isn't you're not as nervous. When people get nervous, they those low teens for wide receivers, because I mean, even when I was younger, right, if you were a wide receiver, you were in the 80s almost exclusively, right? If you were a running back, you were in the 30s or 40s almost exclusively. Now, right, you can be a single digit, you can be a teen, 20. Matt Golden, of the Packers. I think he's number 22. He's a first-round pick wide receiver, number 22. That makes no sense. Except I just gave somebody a hint maybe for a future numbers game. If you get Matt Golden, that one that's hard to remember. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's see what we have coming up next. Hold on. All right, Princeley Umanmielen. Not afraid to say things with his chest. Not afraid to say something bold. Third-round pick for the Panthers. What did he say this time? Stick around.
Evan, Kenty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Are the Detroit Lions really as close as we think they are?
Yeah, I think the Detroit Lions are right there. And I believe in the culture that head coach Dan Campbell has built in the Motor City. Yeah, I think the Detroit Lions are going to be right there again, vying for NFC supremacy. And I think this is one of the best teams in all of football.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. Trying to build the community there, heading towards 20,000 subscribers, and we want you to be a part of it. But all we're asking for is a shot. I'm not saying to just go there and do it purely as a favor, although it would be awesome, and I would say thank you. I'm saying go check out the content. If there's the local team you're a fan of, I promise you there is content being put out about your favorite team. Go check it out, watch it, listen to it, and if you like it, subscribe. Just give us a chance. That's all I'm asking for. Just a sports radio host in front of a listener asking you for a chance. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Princeley Umanmielen, third-round pick, Carolina Panthers, edge rusher. I don't think he's as polite in his requests. And I don't think I want him to be polite in his requests. I don't think the best edge rushers that I've seen have been timid and or, for lack of a better term, polite. I think they've been a bit brash. I think they've been a bit braggadocious. I think they've been a bit maybe arrogant. So what did Princeley Umanmielen say this time? Well, first of all, let me give you the background. Third-round pick, thinks he should have been drafted higher. He's been quoted in the past saying things like, I have more pass rush moves than I showed in college, but I didn't have to show them in college because it was so darn easy to just use speed and win. That's bold, right? It's like a pitcher going up there being like, I have a great curveball, but nobody can hit the fastball, so why throw the curve? And he's said things like that throughout camp. And he's also, by the way, backed it up in the small sample size that we've seen, right? He hasn't played any games. There's been no even preseason games. But through the first couple of practices, there have been multiple moments where he has stood out for his pass rushing ability. Couple of high-profile sacks when everybody was watching in team period is about the best he can do. Again, small sample size, minuscule importance in the big picture, but it's good to see if you're going to talk trash, he's backing it up at least as well as he could. And thus, he's actually opened up a weird can of worms about the player he's going up against. Because he has beaten Ike Ekwonu, one of the starting tackles for the Panthers, a few times on those high-profile sacks in practice. Which, by the way, they aren't even real sacks. They're like, running by the quarterback, and it would have been a sack. But he's beaten Ike Ekwonu a few times. So Princeley Umanmielen was having some kind of a stream where it looked like he was unboxing something, hey, look at what I got. And in the chat, gosh, I feel so old. In the chat, while streaming, he started responding to the chat, and the chat was talking about Ike Ekwonu. And with some light editing here, just to make it radio-friendly language, here is what Princeley Umanmielen said about his teammate and the guy that he had beaten a few times for sacks during practice, Ike Ekwonu. Here it is.
Oh, my gosh, what does this say about Ike? Ike this, Ike that. Bro, Ike is a great offensive tackle. I'm just like that. Like, what the f***? Yo, what's good? Ike is a great offensive tackle, bro. I'm just cold as f***, fam.
How about that? It is like what you've heard of a backhanded compliment, right? Where it's like a compliment, but it's kind of an insult. What's like a it's like a backhanded defense where he's defending his teammate, but really he's just complimenting himself. Like Ike Ekwonu, he didn't have bad reps. I'm just so awesome that good reps look bad when they're going against me. How about it? How you like me now? Now, where's the news here, right? Why am I bringing this up? Well, I'm bringing this up, A, because it is something that I really enjoy about the best edge rushers, right? They do have to have a little bit of a selfish streak. They do have to have a little bit of that the game revolves around me mentality. I think you need it to be best at that position. So, 3rd-round pick, 5th-round pick, undrafted free agent, I want you thinking the way Princeley Umanmielen is talking. You don't have to say it out loud, right, because you may set yourself up for things to be waved in your face. But Princeley Umanmielen's not thinking it's going to be waved in his face because he doesn't think there's any chance in the world he's not a really good player. And I respect that from that position. Now, here's the other thing. A coach has to understand when to let a player like that be them. Now, Hunter Renfrow is on the Panthers this year. Pleasant surprise of camp thus far, right? A veteran who was out of the game last year dealing with some medical things, like some serious medical stuff, lost a bunch of weight, fevers, all kinds of stuff. Now he's back. He's feeling better. He's looking really good. People are excited about him. He played at Clemson prior to being a Pro Bowl receiver for the Raiders. Dabo Sweeney came out to Panthers training camp to watch and check up on Hunter Renfrow, who played for him at Clemson. Hunter Renfrow, after practice, said that Dabo and Dave Canales are very similar. We'll play that audio for you, and then I'll tell you how this affects Princeley Umanmielen.
They're very similar, right? They're very optimistic. They believe in you before you believe in yourself. They try to speak life into people, speak good into people. Coach Sweeney will crawl you a little more than Coach Canales, I will say, at least so far. I hope I don't see that side of Coach Canales, but they're both awesome people, unbelievable human beings first, right? Y'all know Coach Canales well enough, and being around Clemson as well. I think they both are the epitome of just good people, and they want the best for the people they do life with. They love people, they care about people first, and then football takes care of itself. And you want to do well for people like that, whether, y'all do what y'all do for y'all's bosses, whatever industry it is. I think you just want to see good people succeed, and so that gives you a little extra when you wake up in the morning.
Here's where that similarity, I think, matters. One of the things that I think Dabo Swinney does really well is getting everybody bought into the same goals and getting everybody kind of on the same page without limiting individuality, right? People at Clemson are allowed to have personalities, right? You talk to them in the media, they're not as cookie cutter as some other coaches would have you. Dabo lets you do your thing. And I always like that for athletes. Always. One of the best examples might be Baker Mayfield, ironically. Baker has talked about it, and I remember saying this when he was with the Panthers. I remember saying this when he was with the Browns, where it felt at times like he was trying to almost like act or role play as a CEO of the franchise. Like, this is what a top quarterback is supposed to say. This is what Peyton Manning would say. When, like, anybody that watched Baker in college, anybody that watched Baker when he was playing well, that's not him, right? He's more brash. He's the guy that when he had to sit out a year to transfer, he went and played like club ultimate frisbee and dominated. He's not a football cyborg. He's got some personality. He gets to Tampa, they're letting that personality come out. He just signed a deal today that guarantees him another $30 million next year. And he's going to sign, if they have a good season this year, he's going to sign a fat contract next offseason. All because, and I truly believe that a lot of that is because he gets to be himself. I like when athletes get to be themselves, especially those at the positions where split-second decision-making or split-second effectiveness matters so much. Quarterback, right? You can't be back there thinking, what would Peyton do? And then throwing. Because that split second is the difference between a completion and an incompletion and an interception. Edge rushers can't be back there thinking, hey, if I get this sack, make sure I'm subdued in my celebration. No, if you're a dude that gets a sack and then breaks out a sword katana celebration, you got to do it. You can't think. You got to react. You got to be in the moment. You got to be instinctual. Princeley Umanmielen is him. There is zero about him that comes across as if he is trying to impress anybody. It comes across as, this is what I say. If I were with my buddies and we were playing video games, or if I were with my family, we were behind closed doors, this is what I would say. Now that I am talking to the GM as they tell me I'm drafted, this is what I would say. Like, again, I used this example earlier today, but the Panthers put out a behind the scenes of the draft. And they show, right, the call. Everybody loves the call. All right, give him a call. Tell him we're going to draft him. It's third round. Third round, by the way, day 2 pick. High pick. Means you're essentially one of the 90 best players in your draft class. That is a compliment. They called up Princeley Umanmielen and said, hey, we're going to make you a Panther. He said, what took you so long? Not, oh, my goodness, this is a dream, and I'm going to work so hard for you, Coach. Oh, my goodness, thank you. I'm next to my grandma. She's so happy. He didn't say that. He said, what took you so long? Now, you could say that's boastful. You could say that's arrogant. You could say that. I'm not saying you got to like the guy. I'm saying if I call my edge rusher and he says that, I hang up and turn to my assistant GM and go, we may have got something here. We may have got something here. And guess what? I believe Princeley Umanmielen, whoever he was at his draft party with, hung up the phone, turned around, and said, I wonder what took him so long. That wasn't an act. He wasn't like, this is what they want me to say. That's what he is. And edge rushers are one of those positions. You know, I said this earlier. You could be on the field for 50 plays. You could get beat by the offensive lineman 49 times. If that one time is a third down sack, you swayed the outcome of the game in a big way towards your team.
Yeah, you can completely change the game if that one big play is coming at the right time.
Think about it, if you're a corner, right? Corner, I mean, if you get beat, you got to win every rep. If you get beat once, that could be the difference in the game. Think about offensive linemen, right? Offensive linemen can't be good 57 out of 60 plays. If you're good 57 out of 60 plays, that's awful. Most businesses, if you can be the best radio host in the league on 57 out of 60 segments, best radio host in the world, 57 out of 60 segments, you're probably on national radio. and they just ignore those three. Offensive linemen, you get beat on three, you might be looking for a job. Meanwhile, edge rusher is the exact opposite. So think about the different mindset. Edge rusher is, I got beat 10 straight plays. I got beat 20 straight. And beat might be the wrong term. I was blocked, right? Maybe you were still maintaining your gap or still setting the edge, right? You're not getting manhandled every play. But you didn't get the sack. You didn't get the tackle 20 straight plays. You have to be lined up, right? Hand in the dirt, 2-point stance, whatever you're doing, the 21st play, thinking there is 0% chance in the world this guy's going to block me. I'm going to give him my A-plus move here. I'm going to set him up. I'm going to spin. I'm going to throw my club at him, right? I'm going to do all of these things, and there's no way he's going to block me. And if you're thinking anything other than that, you've already lost. Princeley Uman, I believe he's going to be a situational edge rusher. He's going to be out there on pass downs, told to pin his ears back and get after the quarterback. He could go out there for 8 third downs and get stonewalled 8 times. I believe he's jogging out there on the 9th, talking trash at the offensive tackle and getting that mental edge of knowing he's going to go all out. And that's why I'm very pleased with myself that I bought stock, metaphorically, in Princeley Umanmielen immediately after the draft.
You were in at the ground floor.
And I'm now that it's probably raised a little bit based on how he's practicing, I'm not selling. I'm holding. We're going to the moon with this one. I might sell a little bit after his first Pro Bowl just to get my money back, but then I'm holding on for the All-Pro. I don't know if he goes that far. If he makes Pro Bowl, I might sell a chunk. But hey, my point is, I like the way it's developing, even if, right, like I'm probably not going to, tell my friends, like, you should start doing this when we hang out more, being ridiculously confident and boastful and all this.
But it's got to be real, though. You can't be aura farming like they do in in today's generation. But it seems genuine.
I was going to say, does it seem like that to you?
It seemed real. He was just so casual. He's like, nah, dude, I'm cold, fam. Like, that's just me.
Every time he says it, I believe it. But I believe he believes it. Might be the better term. I still want to wait and see if he's actually that good. But I believe that he thinks he is. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, coming to a close. Thank you to Max for stepping in and keeping us up and running. Max will be with us again tomorrow at 3 o'clock for the show. Subscribe to our YouTube, please. We'll be back tomorrow to finish or continue Game Week. Game Week, NFL football this week. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great night.
Hi, this is Renee Chu. The most trusted local news in the Triangle is now on the radio. WRL News Plus. Now get breaking news and severe weather reports on the radio 24 hours a day. Listen on the radio at 96.5 FM in Durham, 99.3 FM in Raleigh, and everywhere in the Triangle at 101.5 HD3.